Warning. The following content contains opinions and views expressed by no one respawns in real life. Management take no responsibility for this. And by warning you at the start have bypassed any legal ramifications that may ensue. Listeners' discretion is advised. Enjoy.
Alright, so I guess we'll get this. Whatever this is going to get off the road. My brain is fried. I was in a car for 12 hours yesterday. Went with Pan and Fuzco to pick up a truck down in the southern parts of Virginia. Basically, if you drive all the way to Virginia, like you're going to go to Kentucky or Tennessee, but then decide you want to loop back and get into more Virginia. We were in Meadows of Dan, Virginia. I don't know who Dan is or why he deserves an entire meadow, but that's where we were. And we went through Floyd,
like Meadows
Virginia.
of Dan, D-A-N.
Seriously? Yeah, Dan. Some guy named Dan. Some guy named Dan is like, I am Dan. These are my meadows. Look upon them and gaze. It's my glorious meadows.
Welcome to Two Titans and a Hunter, a Destiny 2 podcast.
A show where we discuss tips, tricks, and tools to help all Guardians succeed and enjoy playing more.
What makes us different? Well, for starters, we're not streamers or YouTubers. We just have a passion for Destiny and are dedicated to keeping Guardians informed and up to date with all the latest Destiny 2 info, news, and opinions.
We encourage your questions and feedback. You can contact us either by email at twotitansandahunter@hotmail.com or on Twitter at twotitans_hunter.
Now, on with the show.
Yeah, I played a little Iron Banner Tuesday and Wednesday, and like I did one day solo queue and one day regular queue just to sort of see, if there was any market differences. Play about an hour and a half each way, and all I learned is that nobody can capture a zone to save their life. My team could absolutely wipe the floor with everyone, could clear everyone out within 4 miles of the zone, and then immediately leave the area and go, why would I stand in that circle? That's a stupid idea. I don't want the free super from that. That's a terrible plan. Why would I want to do that?
Micah, somebody that used to be in our clan, but still a good buddy of mine, we played a lot of Iron Banana this past week, and he gets super tilted. Why did you move? Stop moving! What? And he'll just lose his mind because they'll be on the point and then leave, and then he's and then he just loses
every time.
Sanity. And I keep telling him, dude, you're playing the wrong game. It's like they're not here to capture points; they're just here to kill people. What? No, dude, they're here to kill people. You're putting too much emphasis on this, and you're gonna give yourself an aneurysm. Chill. No, he couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it's like this is. I mean, it's like you can beg, you can borrow, you can plead. They're just gonna do what they're gonna do, and you're like, fine, I will capture the zones because that bounty I've got done. I've got that bounty done. Like the first couple of games I played, I've captured all the zones. We're good. I've captured every zone. Everyone's good. Now I need to work on I need to get kills on the rest of the things, which I'm like 3/4 the way through.
I ran the VOG on all of my characters. Still no mythic class. Big surprise there, right?
You don't deserve it. You gotta want it more. That thing is nasty in PvP. I ran
That's why I need to get it, dude. Man.
Yeah, I ran up a couple people against that. It's quick and it's accurate, and you can flinch their head all you want. I've just learned that in Destiny, flinching people does not matter. You can shoot them in the face all you want. They're still gonna land their headshots.
You're half right.
It makes no difference.
Other people doesn't matter.
Difference.
Flinching you matters a great deal.
Right. Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. Matters a great yeah, exactly. I'm just like, I've poured, 1,000 bullets a second into your face, and you're still like, no, I've 2-tapped you in the eyeball. Left eye and then right eye. No. And I'm like, you should not be able to do this. I'm hitting headshots. No, it doesn't matter.
For real, dude. That is it's just not fun, dude. Not at that level of the game. It's just
like this is not a realistic experience. We should not expect a realistic experience. It is what it is.
I think I might have Nullzy. He's a regular on the Guardian Down and the Guardian Hub, and I played with him a lot this week. He's a PlayStation player and PC player, so he said he'll be on the show. And he said what time? Nullzy.
Oh, Nullzy. Oh, okay. I was like,
yeah. And he's all like, sure. When did you guys record? 8 minutes ago.
Yeah, now. we don't plan things here. This is not how any of this goes.
What had you told me? I'm guessing nope.
Well, while you're sorting that out, because I've lost your audio now. I don't know if you muted it or hit the
mic. No. I just stopped talking.
Okay. That works too. It just
By
come
the
off
way-
very abruptly. I was like, I don't know if it died or not, but
No, by the way, I did find out there's a, I wanted to get that. Not sure a minute. Oh, I gotta invite him. Doy, that helps. Invite people. Yeah, bam. All right, Nullzy, I sent you the invite. There you are. Now, how do I drag you in here? Can I drag and drop? Is that a thing? How do we get him in the show?
I don't know. I don't remember
Don't
how
we
we
have
set
to-
this all up.
Oh no. Roles.
I might have to make him a guest or something.
Is there a guest role? There's a guest host role. Yeah, put him there instead of host. That makes more sense. Wow. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, I don't know what the differences are really.
Yeah. Now join the show chat. Come on.
Right.
I believe in you.
I'm
There he
here.
is.
I heard you say that. It actually took a second for everything to populate, and it's still kind of taking seconds to populate, but working on it.
So, I was kind of introducing you in like the worst way possible. I was like, this is Nullzy. We play PvP. We play a lot of stuff together. He's a regular on the Guardian Down and the Guardian Hub. And we did a lot of ridiculously amounted Iron Banner this week. And now I hate everything because he peer pressured me into doing it. And he's a bad person.
I didn't peer pressure anything. I got invited to do a Vault of Glass and ended up playing Iron Banner for like 3 hours.
You can't prove that.
That's usually about how that goes. Yeah, that sounds accurate.
Actually, you can prove that because I recorded the whole thing. But so, the idea is, we'll discuss some things. You give opinions, this and that and the other.
Let me at least like grab the TWAB because I haven't looked at it.
And
yet,
I was
so
gonna
that's-
say,
Yeah,
the
I would say
TWAB.
there's so you can go into the 12. There's really not much there. Like there's really.
I
next
am
to
sure they're going
nothing
to
in
play
the 12.
everything close to the chest for the next season. I think it's all going to be here. It is. You're not going to hear about what's coming. I think it's going to be it's going to be pretty light on content.
And they just dropped us, a giant reveal and an entire new season. They're like, you have this until February.
Yeah, and it's
Go
like
play it.
we're gonna just show it to you. We're gonna drip feed the story to you now because anything we say will spoil anything we're trying to do. So
Anything
just
we
take
say
it week by
can and will
week.
be used against you in a court of law.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not
And we're
trying to
still,
dig too deep.
probably building half of it too.
Oh yeah, no, well yeah. I have no idea. So, and maybe this is something we'll end up touching on, but like I feel, and I think I talked to Respawn a bit about this the other night, but I think they hired a lot more people for Destiny 2 than we thought. Like we thought so many people were going to be working on the new game, and I feel like a lot of them are actually working on Destiny 2 right now.
Well, the new game, like it's a whole different thing. Like it's all
That's what I'm
Bungie,
saying. So
but
they
yeah, it's
hired like 30% increase in staff or 40% increase in staff, and we thought, okay, maybe 10% of those people are going to end up working on Destiny 2, maybe a new map division or something like that. But most of them are probably for this new game, and it looks like most of them are for Destiny, and they're just kind of workshopping the new game because, I mean, if they're putting out a new dungeon or a new raid every 3 months on top of the story content they're writing right now, on top of reworking all of the classes the way that they are, on top of an entirely new play zone that looks like it's going to be pretty freaking big, I think they got a good sized team.
They do. That is the thing.
So I don't know, man. I don't think this is gonna be the Witch Queen's gonna be good, or like that first season 16 is gonna be really good. I think this is what Destiny is just gonna be now.
Really?
I think they understand that. I don't think, I mean, look at how many people are coming back. I have so many friends coming out of the woodwork that I haven't played since, beginning of Shadowkeep, some since Forsaken. Everyone's like, hey man, I'm just coming back. What's the best way to get Ascendant shards? And I'm like, kind of tough right now at the beginning of the season, but high level night.
What's the
It's
best way to get the high level items? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Endgame
no
item.
one's doing it right now, but eventually we'll get there.
play enough until you can.
But like
Right?
that's how long they've been gone that they don't even know how that crafting system works. And they're
Right.
coming back. So I think we're about to see a massive because I think everyone's in accordance that Witch Queen is gonna be amazing. Like I can't find anything I'm upset about. They keep giving me more good news.
So, the first question we have to ask you before we get way too off topic is, everybody needs to know what your main class is, right? So, most of the time people think I only bring hunters on, and I was like, that's not true. I don't only know hunters.
Just 99% of them. That's all.
So, what's your main class that you use for PvP, PvE?
Hunter.
Okay, you know what? He's a bad example.
So keeping with tradition, good.
I have recently branched out into Warlock.
Yeah, because you were using Warlock with me. That's why I
like
thought you were going to say
season-
Warlock.
I was not using Warlock with you. I didn't play
You
Warlock
were.
for I'm not at all the entire time we were playing.
Then who am I thinking of?
Respawn. I finally found someone who's not a hunter. Oh, find 6 more hunters. Well, he
Yeah.
tries.
I do. I just really bad at it. Really bad at it. Look, I can't even English, you see? And you trust me to find people?
Actively laughing about getting knife kills and talking about how overpowered Atheris's embrace was in PvP.
That's right, because you and I were using the bounty throwing knife of doom.
Well, I was using the bounty throwing knife of doom. I don't know what you were
I
using,
was
but
as
I don't
well.
know. It might have been
He was
that great
using
value.
Excuse me, I got ridiculous kills I did not deserve to have, sir.
Well, there you go.
Yes, I will agree that you did not deserve most of your kills.
Seems accurate.
No,
It was a good
dude,
night. It was actually a lot of fun.
It was great. Yeah, no, it was really fun. Playing. See, that's the only reason why they peer pressure me into playing, because like, if I have people that make it enjoyable, it's enjoyable. The PvP itself sucked, but at least the
we were
people there
complaining
fun.
the entire time, but we were complaining together, and that felt nice.
It was so bad, man.
Like
The
everyone
whole
gets
experience
super
was
ragey,
bad.
but no one got mad at each other, which is like the
Yeah.
best kind of rage. It was just like screaming at some person you'll never see again, and then you're fine 30 seconds later.
Mm-hmm. Remember that one guy that kept freaking disappearing on us and showing up in weird places?
Okay, to be fair, and let me shout out to Helios, our Australian buddy we were playing with. That might have just been a connection error that he had no control over.
Oh, please tell me you were on the Australian servers. Go to
We
the
don't know.
Australian servers to play
I
PvP.
was the party
There's like
host.
6 people. It's amazing.
That's I think it was the inverse. I think he may have been from the Australian servers on that one. I'm not sure how he got dragged in or where we were hosting, but there was some wonky stuff that makes me think we may have been overseas. It was bad.
As someone who's played threes and PvP with people from 3 separate continents, it gets real wacky.
Shout out to Mo Haffo as well. We've done PvP with Mo, myself, and Helios, and Mo's over in England. And I'm on the East Coast of the United States, so we were really pushing those Destiny servers as hard as we could.
Yep. Yeah, weird things definitely happen when you either give someone the host in a foreign country or a foreign continent away from everyone else in the group, or there's just 3 of you just like, okay, we're gonna be on this country servers. You guys are way far away. It's gonna be amazing. It's either gonna go great or go terribly.
But no, this dude was straight up freaking David Blaning himself the whole time, dude.
Oh, you could put half a magazine into him and he wouldn't start taking damage until he was already dead.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, bro, are we playing the same game?
Obviously not. He's playing a way better game.
Oh, the best, the kicker on it all. The kicker on it absolutely all. He's using Sweet Business.
Yeah. We did your thing. We did your thing where everybody gets on with Sweet Business and Warpig and just what did he call it? The murder ball? We formed a murder ball and just went all around the map, dude. That was so disgusting.
It got really bad when I started using Chroma Rush and started flanking people while you guys were all moving together.
Oh yeah. That's a nice variety of auto rifles is just a beautiful thing because they hear the Sweet Business coming, and then you hit them with a 720, and you're like, wait, how? You just appear from nowhere and put bullets in the meter that I wasn't expecting. It's beautiful.
Dude, that whole experience is hilarious.
The game is broken in a lot of ways right now, but it's broken in ways that's not really upsetting to anyone. The game is just the power dynamic is fantastic.
Mm-hmm. And you can't have ammo.
Yeah, that's they might need to look into that. I don't know if it's 100% solution yet. The good news is playing a hunter with Lucky Pants is you don't need any champion mods. You just erase them before they can do anything that either repairs them or blocks damage, or you just melt the unstoppables. It's great.
And like right now, I'm playing the Nightfall, and I found out that I don't even have to I don't need Charge with Flight. I don't need Warmind cells. I don't need anything. Put on some Fusion Scavengers and Fusion whatnot with my Lucky Pants, and that's it. That's all you really need. It's so broken right now.
Good time to be a hunter. That's all we're saying. It's a good time to be a hunter.
It is a very good time to be a hunter.
Has it ever been a bad time to be a hunter? I mean, really?
Constantly.
I mean, from someone who's not Respawn, who does nothing but moan about how bad hunters are and how bad hunters have it, yet continually plays the hunter.
I moan about how we get
nobody was
nerfed.
asking you.
I never said we're bad.
No
we
one's
just get
asking
nerfed way too damn much.
No one asked you. I'm asking the guests you brought on.
I think aspects of hunters have been kind of really left behind in the past. Grenades especially. I think that my worst time playing a hunter was actually when Revenant Hunter was breaking PvP, because I was getting shamed just for playing hunter, and like if I played even a like solar, I'd still take trouble for it, even though solar was not good compared to stasis at the time. So it feels bad to play hunter a lot.
I mean, not for me. People can shame me all they want to. I take it as a badge of pride.
Like, yeah, like the Outlaw Golden Gun, for instance. Like the way the Outlaw Golden Gun being affected by range, it feels bad.
Yeah, absolutely. Somebody was trying to in our chat the other day. I don't know if you saw it. They're like, "Oh yeah, I can snipe people cross map with Outlaw." I'm like, prove it, because that thing has less range than a freaking legendary hand cannon. I want to see you snipe somebody cross map with that gun. You know, and then of course he's like, I ain't got time to argue with you. Well, yeah, because you're wrong. You know, you can't do that.
I mean, I'm never gonna try and defend Respawn on some of those points, but there's moments. We have moments. The game's pretty well balanced for the most part right now, though. I really can't complain. If I get killed in PvP, I usually feel like it's my own fault. So
that's usually how I feel too. It's usually like, okay, I did a stupid thing. I put myself out so I could allow the thing to happen that was going to happen. The worst is when you see it coming and you're like, something dumb's going to happen.
Called out to Peace last night. So doing the 1v1s, Peace is all like, oh my god, he's gonna, he said, oh my god, he's gonna shadow dive me. And he got the whole sentence out in the time it took the dude to actually do the shadow dive. I was like, that's the worst part, is you knew it was coming. You had time to say that whole sentence, and you still died.
It's kind of like watching a Striker Titan fly at you, and you're just like, all right. It's not much you can do at that point.
Pretty much.
This is my fate. You step around that corner, and you see that red glint, and you're like, well, goodbye, world.
It's been nice like, we're going to die screaming. Like, come on, let's just get it done.
Yeah.
And the answer is yes, I will absolutely die screaming.
I will concede 1 point to Titans out there, right? Your panic Titan, although it's good in panicable situations, if you just pop it to run after people, that super is so bad. It is.
I had to specify which panic Titan, because Titans panic in all sorts of situations.
The non-middle tree arc, right? So top tree arc, bottom tree arc, right?
Yeah.
So that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. It's if you're in a mob of people, if you're in a marketplace, they don't see you coming and you pop it, you're good. But if you're trying to chase somebody down with it, you're basically a sitting duck that glows. It says, "Here I am, shoot me in the face."
You are.
Yeah.
You really are.
Oh yeah. No. It's real bad.
I was trying to get the ability kills with that subclass.
Oh no.
And I was like, no, I had to swap over to solar.
Yeah, you're better off. Yeah, if you want to run arc, you're better off just thunder crashing a thing, because at least you can get the kills hopefully as you go by, or just say, "Hey, that's a zone. That zone doesn't live there anymore." But yeah, no, it's not great.
So I'll concede you that, right? Overall, you're still a walking tank, but that super, you have
everyone's head has the same number of hit points. But no, I'm really enjoying the game right now, so I can't complain about much, and I'm really just getting excited by it a lot at this point. It's pretty fantastic.
What's your favorite part this season?
Lucky Pants, honestly, and Malfeasance having the best weapon slot, which feels good in a Taken season.
In a Taken season, yes, but outside of Taken, you got the Crimson. Everyone is all about that last word. It's like, no, dude, Crimson actually out DPS's last word. Nobody believes me. And then
prove it.
I did. And then I was watching a video.
I'm sure Astrocross will have a video for it soon.
Exactly. No, it was an Astrocross video. He did that, right? But he also showed that there's a legendary hand cannon that is just as good as the Crimson and Malfeasance. It's the Service Revolver. You know what I'm talking about? The oh god, no.
Wait, isn't the Service Revolver Sunset though?
No. Hold on. Let me find out which one it is.
Was
I
this
have
a
it on me
recent
right now.
or I guess it was a recent cross video if it was.
Yeah, it was recent. Where the hell you at?
How much the Survivor's Epitaph?
7th Seraph Officer Revolver. That one.
Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha.
And the specific roles you're looking for are either 4th times the charm and high impact reserves, or 4th times the charm and Vorpal weapon. And that, because the magazine size, because of the 4th times the charm and the stability on it, it makes that gun have almost as much damage as the Crimson, and that's a legendary. So if you don't want to eat up an exotic slot to use a Crimson or a Malfeasance, there's your good second bet. 7th Seraph Officer Revolver, 4th times the charm, and either high impact reserves or Vorpal weapon. There you go.
Was that in his Lucky Pants meta video? Or
Yes.
which? Okay. I was trying to figure out which one it was to give the Nitedemon to throw in the show notes.
And it was him. It was Fallout Plays. Him and Fallout both did a video on it. So just put both videos in there, and they'll have all the information they need.
But for me, it's not just that it's very strong. It plays into the hunter power fantasy, like the whole outlaw, like the almost if you play Borderlands, the Mordecai style of gameplay. Really kind of plays into that power fantasy. And Lucky Pants was always such a cool item that just never was any good, and now it's good. And I really enjoyed that they're kind of really digging into class identity with some of the exotics.
Yes, and it's like top tier good too.
And they're doing it for the other classes as well. I mean, Warlock's exotic reworks and a lot of the new Titan stuff all feels very on brand, and I really appreciate that about class exotics.
That Titan one though is evil, dude.
Hey man, we had dancing pants, so like.
Yeah, but our dancing pants, well, the pants didn't get nerfed. Fair enough, the mods did, which is what I wanted.
To be fair, they should have as well.
No, that's exactly what I said. I mean, I'm glad Bungie nerfed the right thing this time, right? But aside from that, the gauntlets, which have not been nerfed, and you can take them into PvP, unlike Lucky Pants, like freaking the way it works with shotguns and punches is just, it's so broken with Titans, man. It's so broken with Titans. And then there's that overshield aspect of it. Good God, man.
It's just making the Titans more Titan-y, though. So I'm not, it's like Mask of Baccharis. All it does is make hunters more huntery. It's not overpowered. It's just very good with the playstyle.
It leads into that power fantasy of I want to rush you and punch you in the face or shotgun you down. And if you're real good with shotguns, it lets you play into that fantasy.
Yeah, and Titans should be big and burly and tough to kill and super strong, but have the downside of being kind of clumsy compared to the other classes.
Yeah. And if we can't get to the hunter because the hunter's dodged away and run away, then it doesn't do us any good to run at you and punch you or shotgun you.
And you got warlocks going outside the map with scout rifles and kind of floating around, and if you're not paying attention,
yes, that one guy.
But they're just being warlocks. And I appreciate that about the game, though.
Yeah, the verticality of warlock. Like, I know it's one of the things. Like, you know, there's an airstrike above you. You know it's coming. You're not sure when it's going to hit you, but you know it's there. And sure enough, there's a warlock hovering above you. Dawn blade, scout rifle, it doesn't matter.
Oh, they're not even dawn blading. They're just up there with the scout rifle, and then if you engage, then they dawn blade, and then you're just like, okay.
Yeah.
They just wait silently until you engage. Far out that they go. I don't know if you've seen this. I definitely did. This dude, he was not out the map. He was in a whole different PvP map and sniping us from the air, and he still managed to float his ass back. I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, he sent you out from next week.
Hey, as I said, anything that makes people want to play the game is something I'm about.
I hear you, man. That was a little ridiculous. When I saw him out there, where he's a dot in the horizon, and I'm surprised the whole get back to the map mechanic didn't force him to get back. It was crazy, man. So far out. Anyway.
At least they show up on the map now, as opposed to, oh, hey, by the way, we fixed the thing where warlocks weren't showing up on the map when they were hovering above you. Wait, what now?
That was a thing.
By the way, they slipped that into the seasonal notes. It's like, oh, by the way, or it was last week or 2 weeks ago. They were like, yeah, so warlocks didn't always show up on the radar when they were around you. So that's the thing now that they're gonna do. It's like, oh, good, thanks, I appreciate it.
That's why there's the unseen benefit of a hunter playing top tree void in PvP, and everyone gives me trouble for it, but that enhanced radar is everything.
If you know where the things are, you know hopefully where they're going to kill you. You still may not be able to
It-
stop them and be able to go, oh look, there he is. Oh, I'm dead. But at least you'll know.
But you play the map enough, you understand that if it says, "Oh, he's above me," and off to the right, there's like one hallway he's going to be in, and that's where people make plays out of. So you can kind of, it's really useful. It's almost wall hacky, almost.
Yeah.
Foe Tracer's actually wall hacky, but we don't talk about Foe Tracer publicly because we do not want them to break it.
I don't
The
know what
first
you're
rule of
talking
Foe Tracer
about.
is we don't talk about Foe Tracer.
Foe Tracer isn't even an exotic we have in this game. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Well,
no,
that's
I mean,
that's the reason.
I just thought you got tracing paper, and then like you drew like in your crayon like a circle around the thing that killed you last. Isn't that what foe tracing is? There's a foe.
We
and you
hired,
just trace him?
we hired a Titan to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
He got his crayons. It was a good day.
That's what foe tracing is. Yeah.
Well, it's just like they just announced the nerf for the Lawrence driver, and all the hunters just kind of looked at each other and went, "Yeah, okay." It makes no difference. It's beautiful. Don't tell anyone.
Yeah. No, it's like, guys, they have that. Never mind. We won't.
Nope.
So welcome back to our show. Already in progress. 2 hunters and a Titan. We have Respawn. We have Nullzy, and we have Peroty. All nice short names, except for no one respawns in real life. His name's just too long. So we're gonna call him Respawn now. So he now owns all the
Well,
copyright.
no, you got it. No, you have
That's who he is as a
add
person.
the S so I don't get sued. It's Respawns if you're gonna shorten it, because there is a guy out there whose name is Respawn, and I don't want to get in trouble.
But you are the original. That guy.
I don't think he was, actually. I think he was. I have no idea. I honestly have no idea, but I don't want to get into a battle. So.
Rap battle? You should do a rap battle. That would be amazing.
Oh, I destroy him. No, I don't want to do that to him.
Yeah, see, it'd be bad. Speaking of destroying people, so in next week in Destiny, you'll be able to destroy the Shattered Realm, which you can return to. Again, you can face Thavix in the Exodus Crash Nightfall. You can enjoy bonus Gambit ranks. So if you've been sitting here going, "Oh, Gambit, that's a weekly thing," you can go play Gambit and enjoy more ranks there.
All right.
Trials of Osiris comes back in all of its reworked glory.
That is amazing.
And you can fight fire with Firewind Team Scorch to return to the Crucible.
Oh,
and before Respawn asks me what that is, that's when you get a Scorch Cannon, and you get a Scorch Cannon, and you get a Scorch Cannon, and you fire at your friends and your enemies and blow everybody up and turn them all into lovely, lovely fireballs.
sounds fun. Or does it?
And the British man would yell at me if I didn't tell you that coming up this week, if you haven't gotten any of these, I don't know, these fancy new pants or these fancy Titan punchy shotgun gloves, on Monday you'll be able to get a helmet drop out of the Aphilion's Rest in the Dreaming City.
Aphilion's Rest, yeah.
Yeah, that one. And then your master is a chest drop out of the Chamber of Starlight. On Tuesday, the empty tank from the Tangled Shore will give you legs. Your Aphilion's Rest is your master on Tuesday, which will give you a helmet drop. On Wednesday, we're heading to the moon for K1 Logistics, which will give you the arms. So if you are hunting those new arms this season, K1 Logistics, Wednesday on the moon, and the empty tank on the Tangled Shore will give you your exotic legs at the master level. On Thursday, it's K1 Communion on the moon for your chest, K1 Logistics on the moon for your arms for master. And on Friday, K1 Crew Quarters on the moon for your helmet, K1 Communion for chest. Saturday, K1 Revelation for your legs, K1 Crew Quarters for the helmet. On Sunday, your Concealed Void on Europa will give you the arms drop again. So Sunday, if you've been working all week and go, I need my arms, Sunday is the next chance to get those at the legendary level, the 13. What are the levels of season? I don't even remember now. 13, 10, and 40, whatever they are.
I thought it was 40 and 50.
40 and 50, whatever they are. The easier one to do than the harder one. So Sunday will give you arms. K1 Revelation will give you legs on the master level. And then on Monday, on the 13th, Bunker E15 on Europa. So if you need the chest and you're like, I want to go in with all my little AI friends, go to Bunker E15 on Monday, this 13th. It'll give you your chest exotic drop, and the Concealed Void on Europa will give you arms. If you want to say, I want to make this harder and get arms at a harder level, you can do that on next Monday on the 13th. And Eververse. We have Eververse things next week. So if you've got some silver, you're just burning a hole in your pocket and you want to spend it, you can get a Thornament for the King for the Thorn. That's the Thorn Ornament or Thornament. You can get the Junkyard Steed Sparrow, the Dreamer Shell Ghost, or the Cat Ear Dance emote. And for Bright Dust, if you're looking for the Firebreak Wardenship or the Tachyon 4, you're in luck. Those will be available. Your Sparrows are the 4th Degrees of Separation and the Archangel's Alacrity. The emotes are going to be Ninja Vanish and the Eager Beaver. The weapon ornament is the Eyes of Tomorrow ornament, Cyber Optics. Your ghost projection is going to be the Lost projection, your transmat effect will be your stasis entrance, and your shader will be the Lion's Pride. And Hunters, your class ornament is going to be the Nano Redux for the Raiden Flux, which gives you the cool Siva-inspired look. Titan ornaments is going to be your Husk Crushers for the Dune Marchers, if you want to, crush on Hive with your big stompy boots. And the Warlocks will have the Diadem of Deceit for the Crown of Tempest's helmet. And those are all the things you can buy next week and all the ways you can get Lost Sector gear. And now we've made the British man happy.
Not yet. We haven't read the whole thing word for word yet.
How much of the TWAB have you gotten through? Have you read all about C++ programming? Do you want to be a C++ programmer? Do you know what any of those words mean in that blog post at all?
Ooh, I do.
What I want to know, as somebody who knows a little bit of C++, is why is anyone still using C++?
Because of the control it gives you. What would you use, Java?
If you had read the tech blog, they would have told you exactly why they used it. Something about scale and control, and I don't remember all the rest of it. I know just enough about programming to understand some of the concepts, but that's about it. So I guess we'll mention that, have a quick, at least brief discussion. Bungie put out another tech blog, Bungie C++ Guidelines and Razors, which was pretty technical. So if you're like technical programming, I don't care, skip it. Not important to you. There are only two sort of things I pulled out of it, just I thought were a little bit interesting. Of the, this game is 5.1 million lines of code as the whole thing, which is just a lot to do. And some of it's 20-year-old code for, hey, when you press button, do this. And some of it's, hey, crossplay code that was written recently to support all this stuff. And some of it's just crap that needs to be deleted because they've been building this game for 7 years ongoing and using code that they wrote 20 years ago. I don't know. I run into a little bit at work because I would do I see a little tiny bit of this world. Is like they talked about the different branches they're building. So it's like we're building this season, next season, and the Witch Queen all at the same time. And all the code they write for, this season, next season, filter down into the Witch Queen and things change. So it's like you're trying to build something while the deck of the ship is being reworked under you and hoping that none of it falls over. It was a big thing about, like coding practices and like how to keep code, similar among people and how they use different practices, which again, if you have any,
that's the biggest thing about codes this size is everybody when you code, it's like a fingerprint. Everybody codes differently, right? I don't know how else to explain it, but when you code, you use different algorithms. You put things together in different ways. That's why you use C++ in a lot of these cases, because C++ will let you do pretty much whatever the hell you want, even if it's detrimental, right? But we're not going to get into that part of it. But the idea is because everybody codes differently. Right, let's say I've created a function that says is PvP, right? And this function determines whether or not a character is playing PvP to say whether or not these weapons are going to have PvP damage or PvE damage, right? Well, the way that I've set up this function, this other guy has to call for his program, right? And his program has to run in such a way that my function will function whenever he calls it. And now me and this guy have to work together to make sure that there's no bugs whenever he incorporates my function into his code. It's all kinds of stuff, right? So,
yeah. And everything that you write, I also need to write and make sure, one, that if you've called your thing is PvP, I need to make sure I refer to your thing as is PvP as opposed to, can has PvP. Because if I call my variable can has PvP, talking to your is PvP, it should be like, no, that's not going to work at all. And then Nullzy over there has to write and then Nullzy has to write his code and be like, well, I'm working on a thing that's totally different, but I have to make sure that I know sort of what you're up to and the fact that we can even call things out by PvP or not. I need to know that's a thing. And then anything I'm writing, I need to sort of, take that assumption into account and say, hey, that's the thing we can do. So if I'm building a certain weapon, I need to be able to say, hey, make sure if we need to tweak my weapon for PvP, it can do that. So I need to make sure that is PvP thing works for the thing I'm writing over here, and then blow that out. I think Bungie says they have like 150 developers. So blow that out to 150 people, plus playtesting, plus QA, plus everything else. And it's trying to get all of those people to work in harmony and, balance these 5 million lines of code so nothing blows up on our faces.
Jealous wanted us to also mention that depending on the code and how it's integrated, you can also have infinite loops. You can have call on crashes. All kinds of stuff can happen when you
Oh,
go.
None of
Telestos.
these things have ever happened in Destiny, though. They're very good at working those out before
Oh
launch.
yeah, no. There's never been a crash in Destiny. There's never been an infinite loop or a wall that you can't get out of. Yeah, no, never.
But that style of program, it really has gotten much easier due to programs like Slack and like Discord, where everyone kind of has this combination forum / chat room / cloud computing service / voice communication channel that they can immediately get in contact with each other about everything and then show people, they can upload their whatever environment they're working in, but their algorithmic documents, and kind of work with each other on them at the same time. They can screen share. So this programming process that used to be a lot of bug repair, which is still there, obviously.
I was gonna say no, it's definitely still there.
It's absolutely still there, but you also got the complexity of the coding is gone tenfold, where maybe the bug portion of it is maybe 3 times as more complex.
Yeah, dude, I can't tell you how many times I've compiled a program and it's found one error. I have fixed that one error, and now I recompile it, and now there's 30 errors. I'm like, oh my god!
Oh, it's the classic. It's the classic sinking boat. You put your finger in one hole, and 4 more show up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like and that's I think part of what we see. You put something like, I don't know, let's just say a Telesto into the game that has a very particular set of skills that breaks the game in a very particular way.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Okay. We're not talking about Telesto.
And the best part about that is you're only speaking from a point of reference of like direct coding.
Exactly.
These guys are also working in 3D environments, so not only can the codes not function, you could get like models that are skewed 40 miles into one direction because something's not aligned properly.
Capes, for example. Yeah.
100 capes that fly off into infinity, Titan butt capes that also, when you spin around, just grow and grow to encompass the entire.
Oh, do
planet.
they? I didn't know that.
For a while, yeah. It's like some of the like the Titan butt capes were sort of having the same problem. Like especially when you do certain emotes, like the physics of them would spin or whatever, they would just like stretch out in weird random ways. It was beautiful.
100 cloaks have been doing that forever.
It's
always impressive to see a new one that's just going bananas.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like you have all these problems we sort of talked about, and then we're gonna take this code and put it on an Xbox and a PlayStation and a Google Stadia, and we're gonna put it over here in the the cloud for Stadia, and we're gonna put it on a PC, which is, at least with an Xbox and a PlayStation and your cloud environment Stadia, you can sort of say, okay, here's the limits of what we're working with. Here's the Xboxes, here's the PlayStations, here's the levels of specs. Now we're gonna put this thing on PC, where you can have anything under the freaking sun, including your toaster with an external graphics card running this game. And let's hope it all works in every single environment with every other piece of software you may or may not have installed, except for the cheating things, which we're trying to turn off. But who knows? It's like you're trying to put this into the great unknown. We talk about, hey, Bungie tests this and they do this and they do that, and they say, okay, we've play tested this, we've done our QA as best we can. Now we're going to put it out into the world. Okay, so great. So our testing team of whatever now is going to get into a realm of millions of people across all sorts of different setups and different languages and different countries and different everythings. And yeah, of course things are going to fall over. Like it's always a minor miracle that the game comes out and doesn't just completely blow up, because it's not like you've released Skyrim, where it's a game, it's a thing, you put it out, it's a thing you can play, and it's sort of a semi-finished thing. Buggy or not, it is what it is.
Semi-finished.
I was gonna say, like, Skyrim may have been the worst possible example to use.
They've only used, come on, 17 different versions later, they fixed all the bugs, right?
No, there was a meme the other day. It said, "Do you feel old yet?" Skyrim was released 15 years ago, and then 13 years ago, and then 10 years ago, and then 8 years ago, and then 5 years ago, and then this year. I was like, "Oh my god, it has been."
Yeah. Every single one. Yeah. So, with the point that I was doing a very terrible job making was, there are some games where you put them out and they're sort of, it's a single player experience. It's a game. You put it out and it's sort of the thing. Yeah, you can push an update to it, but it's sort of the game is the game. Whereas this is a game that's entirely online with other human beings. So there's that whole extra layer of dealing with other people, like trying to play PvP on the East Coast of the US, in the UK, and in Australia at the same time. How does that work to have a decent experience for all three of those people?
It doesn't.
The three people you play against.
Well, so part of the issue with that is, and before we get too far away from that, I'd like to actually come in defense of companies, more so even like Bungie and like Bethesda, where the reason why we're willing to play these broken, buggy, sometimes horribly compiled games is because their ambition is just so much higher than what they're actually able to do tech-wise yet. And you can kind of see that. Like what they want to do, they're just not able to do yet.
I did
And
not
that's
bring you
why
in
these
here to
companies are
defend
so
Bungie.
magnetic.
No,
I'm
stop.
not defending Bungie on all facets. I'm saying that the creative team, the developers, you know, the engine that makes the game work, I will never do anything but praise those people because those people do their jobs better than most people in the industry.
Yeah, fair enough.
Some of the corporate decisions, some of the, you know, there's a couple things, some of the balance decisions, but that's, you know, the balance team is like what, realistically 10 people? Like there's this cabal of people that decide, you know, how big the bullets are.
This
you
should
can't
more or
expect
less
them to
work
try
in-
every little thing when you then take that testing model and you roll that out to
Yeah,
you
but
know,
like
8 million
obvious
players.
things like how will this, you know, mod work that gives you supers on class ability use work on a thing that we give them 6 class ability uses, right? You'd think something like that would have come up, you know, before it reached playtesting or before it reached.
But would it have come up in the 2.5 hours on a meeting on a Thursday that they had to discuss this particular thing? Like there's you know, take that instance and blow it out into 47 trillion different possibilities of okay, you have your hunter. What's all the different subclasses and all the different subclasses and all the different mods and all the different aspects you can put on this? Yeah, there are some outliers. There are absolutely things that are going to slip through the cracks. There's just too many variables to look at and be able to test with whatever, again, your Tuesday 2:30 meeting that you have with your team, or whatever amount of time you have to work on this. You're not going to find everything.
It's that, and it's finding a bug in general. It's like walking. Imagine a 2-mile minefield with 5 landmines in it. Like the odds of you walking through there and landing on something that's going to kill you is slim to none. And you might walk through there 1,000 times.
Programming experiences, my bud.
Well, we're talking professional programmers on a AAA title. I mean,
right.
There's a difference in caliber here. I play guitar. I'm not Slash.
I don't know. I mean, I would compare you two to Slash. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and again, and at the end of the day, these are the bugs where we go, oh, Bungie, you didn't fix this bug, and Bungie's going, yeah, you should have seen some of the crap we did fix.
They probably didn't even know about it a lot of the time, and the known ones, they're going to war with demons, and we're complaining about a shader not showing up right.
Right. They're like, hey, this hunter spawned into this PvP map 40 feet tall when he wears this kind of boots. Anybody know?
We have a hunter in the skybox. We don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Hold on. No, I need to back up to that. Can we do that?
Has taken to the skies
just for like a day.
Yeah, or we have like laser tag weekend. Hey, this exotic is
but they do lean into stuff like that. They put out an emblem because of it.
Right. No, right. Yeah. I mean, some bugs like lean into, enjoy. Like again, we've talked before. We would love to see more of that. Sort of break something intentionally, or if you see something broken, give it to Sir that weekend, and we go, okay, everybody, you all get this now. We're gonna level the playing field. It's broken, and everybody gets the broken thing. Go have fun with it.
Now the flip side of that, and to kind of get back to where the conversation was now, as I'm about to attack your defensive Bungie, is it's not a persistent online game. It's a hosted game. So it's not like World of Warcraft where there's a server that's running and Bungie's responsible for maintaining that server and people's connections to those servers. That's why you see companies like Blizzard using regions so profoundly. There's Oceanic, there's US, there's Europe, because they want to keep those environments tight. Bungie doesn't have control over the gameplay environment. It's any given person's computer. It's any given person's, network connection. If someone's running it on a potato and they're the host, the game has algorithms to realize that they're using a potato and will try and fix that, which is why you get those weird lag jumps and, as it's jumping hosts.
Right.
But there's only so much the game can do autonomously to make it a good experience. Like the tower holds 30 people, 28 people, something like that. I mean, that's being hosted on a single person's computer. It's not a server that Bungie's hosting
or whatever.
Yeah, which is what you would get with like a World of Warcraft or a Final Fantasy or
right,
something
but that's
like that.
one of
It's not a fair argument to say, it's not their fault.
Bungie doesn't have hosted servers.
Right.
That's one of people's main complaints.
That's a good point,
you need to host servers.
Yeah, but that creates so many different problems of the same kind. You get things like World of Warcraft DLC launches where you get 50,000 people trying to get through the same dark portal. The game breaks. I mean, I know servers are capped at 2,000 people, but the point I'm trying to make is like you When you do all the community on the same level, you get 2,000 people on a single play map, especially back in 2007. It just doesn't work. The game breaks, and it's not fun for anyone. So they had to do their sharding system, which broke it down. The servers got broken down into sub servers, but that ruined the community experience for everyone, which is one of the reasons why that game is dying or dead at this point.
Yeah,
We're not going to get into the whole Blizzard controversy, but
right. And that's one thing that Bungie, I think, is always talk about not wanting to shard their player base in the game, even, and that's why they worked on cross save and cross play and trying to be cognizant about not having 16 different varieties of every playlist. In PvP and things it's like we don't want to give you 16 versions of Gambit. We don't want to give you 16 versions of PvP because it slices the player base up. We want to have people playing together and have good experiences. So I think they're cognizant about that sharding the player base problem sort of overall and trying to see where they can try to improve that in different places. And crossplay being a big one where we don't care what you play on, go enjoy yourself together. And they made it easy to understand sort of what the not caveats, but sort of what the situation is. If I'm on console, if I'm on PC, it's this, and here's who I can play with, and here's what the pools look like. And they made that in what feels like a very un-Bungie decision very easy to understand. There wasn't like 6 versions like, well, if you have a guy on a PC and on a Tuesday, if he invites you to the list first, but then you join his fire team, then you're on his servers. But otherwise,
either you're in the deep end or you're not in the deep end.
Yeah, exactly. I like it's like yes or no. Just give me something easy to understand. Unlike the whole transmat system, which required a PhD to understand all the different things that would need.
I don't know why they took a season to fix that. I'm still upset. I was actually just the other day complaining about the 600 synth weave that's still in my inventory that I was so proud of that I hoarded for the next season so I'd be ready to go on the transmat stuff. And nope, not worth a penny. Feels bad, man. But they're trying, and that's the thing. I can't get too upset because you can tell that the heart is in the right place, and they really do care about the game. It's all they've got going right now, other than the new one they're trying to butt out into. But it's like they have a vested interest in the success of Destiny. It's not like these companies like Blizzard where they have 9 IPs out at the same time, and someone gets left off the bus. This is Bungie's life source right now, and they seem to realize that. And we are now reaping the benefits of sticking around after 3 years of ups and downs. And I can't even say that. I left after Curse of Osiris. I didn't come back until Shadowkeep.
This is when Nitedemon would look down on you and say,
hey, you know what? I can get into how I ended up buying the collector's edition by accident. I was a few drinks into the evening, and I wasn't even planning on playing Curse of Osiris, but I had spent $100, so I may as well just ride it out. And I got into it, and I'm just like, I don't care about anything that's happening right now. I'm going to go play a different game. And then, to be fair, I did come back a few times. I came back a little bit for Season of the Drifter. Me and my circle of buddies came back for like Gambit when it first came out, and Prime and all that. And we did a little bit of the Menagerie and stuff like. So we would come back periodically, but it was never our main game until I started playing Shadowkeep, and that's kind of when I got the bug. Which I know is a controversial statement in itself, but I'm a Halloween guy. I like spooky stuff. Shadowkeep's like, Moon's haunted, let's go. So it picked me up right where it wanted me.
Yeah, but Bungie is nothing if not brilliant at going, we're going to find a way to get our hooks into you. We're not sure what it's going to be, but we're going to keep trying things out until we find the thing where you go, that's it, I'm in. That's
you don't care about Eververse cosmetics? Guess what? We have new lore pages. Like, it's just, there's something for everyone to get hooked on. And that's the lore. I mean, they should be doing the Warhammer thing and putting out books and movies and TV shows.
Books. Have you never seen? Yeah, I mean, Bife and everybody have.
Are you implying that I know how to read?
They do have books. Is what I'm getting.
Are they on tape though?
Kind of.
There's
a lot of these YouTubers.
Once Bife or Mine games, reads them to you. We're not off. Reads them to you. Yeah, they can be. Yeah.
I mean, I've listened to Lore by the Fire, bro.
Yeah, I mean
that is fair.
I mean, realistically, I don't know. I mean, I know why they don't do podcasts. They do YouTube instead because there's money there. But it's like really, you just rip, put the YouTube on the background.
But I'm saying tell new stories within the Destiny world. I'm not talking about just
I gotcha.
Pump out the same info. Do like again, Blizzard did it with Warcraft too, where like tell these side stories, tell these like immerse us in the environment, like the old Star Wars books in the 90s. but Bungie has built a world that is rich enough in lore to, I mean, I think we know that there's a show or a movie or a web series coming. Something's happening on that front.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
they can totally,
probably all of the above.
they
They're
could
probably
make
going,
Destiny comics and they would sell, or like a
Right.
graphic novel, a Destiny graphic novel. Are you kidding me? Every one of us would buy it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and that's I think where they're going, because I think that's what. Hey, we're going to do media. We're reaching out into different medias. It's like they're doing something of this, whether it be a movie, a TV show, books, graphic novels, whatever. Like I think they're finally, for whatever reason, at the point where they're going, okay, we're going to do this now. Maybe it was the split from Activision, and now they've got the autonomy, or now they can do it how they want to do it. Whatever the reason being, I think now that they're staffing up to support these new efforts, and we're going to see here in the next year or two the fruits of these labors. We're going to see what it is they're making. Because I'm with you. Like I've got a buddy, Panoramas, who's read like every single Halo book, who has diving deep into that world, into that lore, into those stories. And I would love for Destiny to be that. And I think that's where we're going. We just, for whatever reason, it's taken them, this many years to get there.
Yeah, no, it's there's bright things on the horizon for certain, which
There's
is
bright
weird
things
because
on
you
the
asked me 2
horizon
years ago, a year
for-
ago.
Go ahead.
So if you asked me, 2 years ago, a year ago, my answer might have been different. But I now look back and realize, oh, they were making the 0.5. I'm not going to say it's a new engine because then Gator wins, so I refuse to let that happen. But this kind of 0.5 remastered engine, if you will.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
almost like what with Half-Life and the Source engine, when they called it Source 2, but what it was is kind of a revamped Source engine. It's not an entirely new set of code.
Yeah, it's just we've made things better, and we're going to slap a version on and go.
They
"This is
rebuilt the foundation, and we
better
all
thing."
they rebuilt the foundation for us, and we all got about it. We're like, man, Beyond Light's campaign was good, but there's nothing else happening. The seasons beforehand were a little lackluster. Now we know why, because they rebuilt this infrastructure, so now they can put everything into doing stuff like Witch Queen. And of course, everyone's losing their mind because instead of worrying about the technical side, they're just like, all right, let's get art in here, let's get new weapon designs, new weapon categories.
Yeah, entire new weapon building crafting system that made probably was not
they've
technically
kind of been
possible
building
before.
into, between the engrams and like the synthwave, we kind of all saw some sort of crafting system happening. But like now they're like, okay, this is how we're going to do it, and now you get it. And of course the story implications and just the giant aspect of everything involved. This was their sort of like, this is where everything was going. This is why you had to wait. And that feels good to see that, we're not going to get it until February of next year. But guess what? I put my pre-order in. I'm happy to wait. I'm excited for February. And then the anniversary stuff that people are complaining about, which I'm sure you guys have covered already, it's the same thing. It's like I'm paying the same $100, except now I get all this extra love and fan service, and cosmetics, because who doesn't love cosmetics? But it's
And
like,
the Gallahorn.
yeah, everyone's like they're charging 30 or all this extra money for. I don't know what the separate price is.
It's like, I think it was $100 total. That's
No, but that's $100 for the season pass with the DLC anyway. So now you're just getting more value. Like they're
Right.
giving you all this stuff for free, the way I look at it. Because like as a hobbyist player, I'm in it either way. I'm spending the money either way. So I just see it as getting a ton of new stuff that's also really like let's do a dungeon in the loot cave. Whoever thought of that deserves a promotion and maybe a small statue of Bungie HQ. Because like that's how you get the crowd in.
Yeah, that's perfect. And I saw that and just laughed because I was like, what better place to put it than there? Yeah.
That's beautiful.
And then and that's the thing. And the 30th anniversary, the package, $24 or $25. Buy it, don't buy it. It's nice that they didn't bundle it all together and say $100 or nothing.
You have the choice, but spend the 100 because honestly, you're gonna get your money's worth. And that's the thing.
If
Is like,
we're not shaming people that can't afford it or people that have parents.
I'm going the opposite direction.
People that depend on their parents is what I meant to say, like kids.
I was gonna say you got a little dark there.
We love the orphans too, but Bungie's charity work is important for the orphans and the non-orphans all the same.
God, that sounds so bad no matter how you say it. Basically, people that don't make their own money, people that depend on other people to buy them stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna no. So I'm gonna take that argument. I'm gonna flip it on its head though. That's not a valid argument because let's say that's the one thing you get. You get that $100. You now have something to keep you entertained for the next 12 months. You do not need to spend another penny other than your internet and your power. Like, you're good. You're on for the ride. Like, that's just it. It's people are like, oh, it's this big ticket price. It is, but also it's not.
Yeah.
Like, would you pay $100 to see as many movies in the okay, COVID excluded, pre-COVID? Would you pay $100 to see as many movies in the theaters you want for a year? Of course you would. Of course you would.
Have and did Regal Unlimited. Hello, signed up in 2019, still using it in 2021 because 2020 wasn't a thing. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I'm all in on that. Yeah,
and that's like, if you hit hard times, let's say you lose your job. Let's think about all the people in the last year that bought the season pass, lost their job due to COVID. Maybe they have enough money to keep the lights on, they keep the internet on, they keep food in the fridge, but like buying a $60 game isn't in the budget. They still have something they can play, and they don't need to spend a penny. Like that means
from last year, you mean they would have to spend a penny for this coming year? Yeah,
correct.
Right. Yeah.
So like now they don't have to worry about how am I going to afford the new season pass? How am I going to do X, Y, or Z? How am I? It's there. They're done. You're good.
Yep. You've spent that money. That money is spent. Now you get to enjoy it for another year.
And it's not like Bungie doesn't charge enough money for things. Like people complain about, like they're really not.
No, you're not wrong.
I can break down the math for you. I mean people are complaining about $100, $50, $2,000 average price of a video game, right? You're talking about an N64, early PS2 games. $50 was the industry standard, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now it's 60. Yeah.
Purely by inflation, that $50 is $80 today. That's just by inflation.
Is it 80?
You want to talk?
No,
it is $80. There has been a lot of inflation in the last 20 years, my dude.
Wow. Well, no, but last year I was still
$50 is $80 now by itself, and you're not going to talk about how much more complex games are. Right. You're not talking about the insane amount of resources they take to make and advertise for, what they take to run on a monthly basis, the upkeep, the janitorial work. Like we should be paying $100 for what we're paying $60 for right now. We should be. To be fair to these developers, to be fair to these dudes that are working, 7-day weeks, working 60-hour weeks, sleeping under their desk to get something out. So that's how we end up with situations like Cyberpunk, is we're not paying enough money for video games.
Well,
we should be flooding. We should be happy to pay them more money. It was 7 years of development.
Well, they weren't done, obviously.
But that's what I'm saying. But like,
when
you
got a deadline, you've got to hit. Yeah. I mean, look at everything. I mean, look at
that.
Heck, Destiny 1 and 2
had more problems.
Well, Destiny 1 and 2. Destiny 1, they were done, and then they rewrote the whole thing and launched what Destiny 1 was. Destiny 2 is the same thing happened. They sort of rewrote the whole thing and took a massive step backward. We're like, what happened to all the things we had in D1? We rewrote the whole thing.
Well, did you see the beta footage?
Yeah,
the beta content footage from Cyberpunk.
No.
The stuff that's actually on, like if you buy a PS4 or PS5 disc, PS5 disc doesn't exist. PS4 disc. If you just play what's on the disc without letting your system update it, they cut like 30% of the game content in that first patch.
Damn.
There's crafting options, there's maps, like versions of the map that are in the game that aren't even in the release game, like a 3D maneuverable map. There's entire classes and weapon categories and characters that got cut out last minute because it wasn't done. It's a tragedy for those folks that literally were spending time away from their families for the worst received game in the last 10 years.
Right, yeah, and worked for some portion or all of 7 years on this game from conception to shipped disc in the box. And I've been to have it be what it is.
And all the people that were ride or die, I've been running the Cyberpunk train since it was still an MMO. Like I've been hyped. Cyberpunk's my aesthetic. Like you want to talk Blade Runner and the Matrix, and like that's my jam. This last season was amazing for me. Okay. And so like there's so many people that are about it. Like this was the game, and then we find out, The Witcher 3 had come out, while it was in development, and we're like, man, if this is what they're gonna do, this is gonna be the best game ever made. And I'm not saying Cyberpunk was purely because of budget. Obviously, it isn't. There's games like Star Citizen that have had millions of dollars thrown in and still haven't been released.
There's indie games that are some of the best games I've ever played.
Solve everything.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, as a whole, as an industry, I think we need to be a little more understanding. I mean, maybe this is me as a giant quote fingers musician talking, but
there's
we need to respect
something...
the artistry there. We need to start giving them the money they deserve for what they're actually doing. We think we're entitled to a $60 game.
Yes.
Yeah, there's something magical about I was able to buy, a Super Nintendo game for the same price I can buy a game today And yeah, a lot of work went into both, but these are not the same
No,
level
back in the
of
day, Super
work.
Nintendo
those
games
games
were
didn't
like
get
20,
updates.
30
Those
bucks,
games,
dude.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I buy Final Fantasy for $60. I bring it home, I play it. That's the game. That's what it is. If you get stuck somewhere, there's a bug. That's what it is. And yeah,
Yes, but
the marketing
usually
budget, the number of people, the whatever.
But usually those
different
games came
scales.
out the whole game, right? There was no DLC. Nowadays, games are specifically marketed that way. They give you a fraction of the game, and you depend on DLCs. Not Destiny, right? But other
But
games.
why
that
do
are
they
out
have
there.
to do that, Respawn? Why do they have to
Because that's how
piecemeal
they make
nickel
their
and dime?
money.
Okay.
You know?
Okay. So they have to do that to make their money, correct?
Yeah, but at the same time,
All right.
okay,
So if we
Destiny-
paid $80
Destiny
for the
as an
game, would they have to
example.
do that?
Destiny as an example, right? I've been preaching this for months, right? Everybody complains about vault space, right? Sell vault space for silver. Boom. Right?
Yeah, but there actually may be technical issues there. You got to remember because they're databasing all of that information.
I understand that, and I broke that down before about how the more stuff somebody has, the more RAM it takes up somewhere.
And if they
right?
screw up, they can erase everyone's vaults. Like
Fair enough.
that's a lot more complex than I know you understand that, but then a lot of people that complain about
Right.
it actually
Yeah.
do. Like that's a tough thing to undertake.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's still a thing that needs to be done, right? Look at all these gacha games, right? These gacha games where they start you off with 20 slots, and then you have to pay like 5 silver to get an extra 10 slots or whatever, right?
I'm actually kind of offended that you would even dare compare Destiny to a gacha game.
Be offended. The point still stands, right? They could sell space to make up for lost revenue or something like that, right?
But that's
Or-
but if they get the revenue for the title itself, they don't need to do that.
Right. They can spend the time on the game and not have to worry about nickel and
if they got-
diming you with things like that. Because
If
that's
they got the
that's not a
$40
position-
or at least the $80 they deserve for that $50 title. If we were saying development costs were the same, which they absolutely are not, it costs more to make a video game than it costs to make a blockbuster movie. Like that's something you have to consider. It costs like AAA titles like what between 150 and $300 million to make. There are blockbuster movies that cost 60 million to make, and then will still gross $1 billion.
Right. And the movie comes out, and that movie is done, and that movie.
Yeah, you don't patch a movie.
Yeah, right. I mean, well, you usually don't patch. Sometimes you patch a movie, but usually you don't patch. A movie.
Well, that's actually to be fair.
Like, I mean, just thinking of a couple that have had things, re-edited or whatever. Yeah, but again,
Mr.
the movie,
Snyder did an amazing job patching a movie. To give his team credit, if there's anyone who's patched a movie,
but
Army of the Dead was that movie.
Yeah, like, but at the end of the day, it's like you have the movie, you have a done thing. You can now take that thing and put it over here and give it to other countries, put it in theaters, do stream platforms, do re-releases. There's more money to be made from that thing you've done. You basically spent the money on the movie. The movie's done. You're marketing it. You're selling it different places.
And the money spent other than advertising. So you always like, let's say a movie costs $30 million. You need to spend another $30 million to advertise.
Right. But there's there's upkeep. There's no servers for that movie. You need to keep updated. Right. There's no new version of. Well, I mean, there's new versions of DVD players or whatever, or a new streaming service, or you can
but the files already exist. You just need to move them over, maybe add some unseen footage and neat backgrounds, and maybe a built-in game like Bartok the Magnificent on DVD came out 2000. Anyways,
yeah. But at the end of the day, it's like, I mean, I'm agree with your point. Like the movie is done. You can improve the movie, but there's no like ongoing upkeep of the movie.
That's just it. That's what the
DVD on my shelf is going to look beautiful no matter what.
That's that $100 Bungie option for Witch Queen. It's like I can pay that $100. I can buy that full game, and I'm good. Anything else they change, I don't have to pay a penny for. If I want some cosmetic stuff,
so I'm going to be that guy, and it puts a bad taste in my mouth. But we need to refocus. We've got way off into La La Land. All right. So, coming back to some semblance of, we didn't even hit the TWAB yet. We're still on this.
No, not at all. I've been rolling with you guys on it. I let you guys sit. I sit back, let you guys argue about it. I'm like, all right, we're still doing this. I'll jump back in.
Did we finish this week of Destiny?
We did.
Yes, we did. Okay. That was actually what spurred the conversation.
We've done the opening. Yeah, we've done the opening and touch on the tech blog, which actually I wasn't sure if it would be like mention this for 3 seconds or spawn a good conversation. I feel like it's spawn a good conversation.
Hey, unlike other podcasts that I've been a part of. I mean, we're not recording at 10 p.m. It's nice and early in the morning.
Yeah, and Demon was worried about us not being able to fill the space with the short TWAB. I think we've accomplished that mission.
No, there was no worry. The question is how much of the twaddle he leaves in. How much of this conversation makes it to the show, which I think will be most of it because it's clean. That's the magic. If you want him to leave it in, don't curse and he won't edit it. That's the demon magic.
And I think it was rational. I think even Respawn's points were, I understand them. I disagree with some of them, but I understand them.
No, I think it was a really good conversation. So yeah, it wasn't just it wasn't us going off.
Trying to be positive role models, damn it.
Yeah, it was related to the game. And now that we've given Respawn time to read the TWAB this week, he can tell us what happened this week at Bungie for the 2nd of September 2021.
Another week, another TWAB. The last 4 have been Mega Godzilla-sized TWABs, leading up to Season of the Lost and the big Destiny 2 showcase we had last week. Expect the next few to be just a little lighter since the new season is live and the game is doing all the talking. Stand by, I need to swap it so people can see what I'm doing. Reading, there we go. All right, week 2 of Season of the Lost is now underway. Spoiler alert!
Too late, you spoiled it already.
There is a new boss waiting for you in the Astral Alignment activity and a new area to visit in the Shattered Realm. The Queen of Lies herself. Savathun is encased in her crystal sleeping bag, but still whispering in your ear when you visit. She made her case at the start of the season. Was it convincing? Did you buy it? Maybe a little? I don't know. Stepping up! We already did this. They still have the whole charity thing going on. Give money, get emblems. Skipping that.
No, they don't. That ended the first. You either gave your money and you got the emblem, or you didn't. That ended September 1st. You'll get your things you get by the 9th, or your shirt in 4 to 6 weeks. But you either donated and got your emblem, or you didn't. But that's over now. So you've either given the city hope, or the city is hopeless. It's up to you, Guardian.
Hopeless City! He's got a PhD in orchestronomic. Did I say that right, Mr. Musician?
That's a big word. It's like a $4
Last
word.
Friday, Dr. Lupo worked with Intel to kick off an Intel Gaming Day with a live orchestra performing Destiny music while he and a group of his mods played through Deepstone Crypt. It was amazing to watch these musicians adapt in real time as Lupo's crew played through the raid. Performing music, much like running a raid, is all about timing, teamwork, and seamlessly progressing through complicated mechanics that threaten to destroy the universe. You can watch the entire replay here. There's going to be a link. Or just skip to the Deepstone Lullaby. We'll see you. You know, that raid already has phenomenal music. So, I mean, yeah.
Now, Respawn, I know in the preceding, 10 minutes you didn't watch this. Nullzy, have you watched this video by chance? I hadn't gotten a chance to watch it. I saw they had done it, and I was like, I haven't watched it. I thought they had just done played music live because words are hard for me today. Like while the raid was going on, I didn't know it was like reacting to the raid. So I'm now curious to watch this. To go, do they just play the music as it was, or ramp it up and down depending on what's going on in the raid? Because that's fun.
The doom effect. No, I'm interested in that now.
Yeah, that's a super cool idea.
Yo, since you mentioned Doom, I know I'm going a little off topic, but there was a meme the other day, and this kid was listening to like heavy rock. And the one was like, "Why do you listen to that devil music?" He goes, "Mom, it's Christian music." And it was music from the game Doom, right? So he's actually slaying all the demons to the music.
That's fair. That's
Christian music.
I think the best way to go about that is actually pause the in-game music and just blast Dio for the entire gaming session. No one? Really?
I mean,
really?
If
there's anyone who's out there fighting demons right now, it's Ronnie James Dio.
I don't know the name, dude. I might know the music, I just don't know the name.
I have no words right now for you.
I'm sorry.
You're going to Google it later, and you're going to feel very silly.
Every time somebody says Dio, my mind defaults to damn JoJo's Bizarre Adventures. I'm sorry, man. I can't help it.
My mind goes right to DigitalOcean because,
I'm sorry. I will keep my music references to myself.
What's the name? Rodney James Dio?
Ronnie James Dio, second singer for Black Sabbath. Wrote the song Holy Diver.
Yeah. As soon as I looked it up, okay, shut up. Cut this out. This didn't happen. A little too hot. We have a quick update on some weapon fixes that went out this morning through a rapid turnaround to adjust community feedback. Here is the weapon design team to tell you more. Demon? Not demon. Peroty?
Have you heard a British voice the entire time? If you are, there's probably medication you can take for that.
I've been taking that medication for years. I haven't seen it kick in yet.
Still hear the British voices in my head.
Oh my god!
Yeah. So basically, the thing they did was that everybody knew they were going to do the Lorentz driver of the new linear fusion rifle. Little too spicy. They decided they would, start it by giving its gameplay fantasy to work in all game modes, and then dial it back as needed. Guess what? We're at that point. So the Lorentz's driver's fantasy is, receiving bounties, hunting people down, collecting the reward, and targeting the markers, are key to this. So they opted to keep them in at launch in PvP to see how it played in the wild. Well, it turns out change is definitely needed. So we've removed the target markers from players. We've removed the target markers from players to remove the God, this is not a hard sentence. I just can't read it today. It turns out, basically, they've removed the markers in PvP. That's what they've done. In PvE, you can still have the markers there. It still marks your enemies. In PvP, they turn the markers off, partially because they were proccing all the time. Everything, if you just had the weapon in your back pocket, it would still mark people for you. So they turned that off because a little too hot, a little too spicy. And since Iron Banner's up this week, all the Iron Banner weapons from Season of the Rivals onward have been able to use the new Iron Banner perks. These perks were left out of the 2 brand new weapons for the season, so we've picked one perk that we feel work well on each of them and have added them into the second trait column. So they've added to the Peace Bond, the sidearm, you can now roll with the Iron Reach, and the Forge's Pledge can now roll with the Iron Grip. So they've added those into the pool, so if those are things you want, they're now available to go get. And now there's no more dancing. Respawn, stop dancing. Stop it.
You can't make me.
There's no dancing.
It's my choice.
We've gone on to here are the things that are broken, here are the things we fixed. So they did push out a hot fix for the season 3.3.0.1, which fixes a couple big things like the Withering Heat artifact mod will correctly describe the mod's perks. It'll tell you what it does now. The Lucky Pants exotic hunter leg armor, the elemental affinity can now be changed. If you couldn't apply the shaders to the Radiant Dance Machines, the No Backup Plans, the Nothing Manacles, and the new Iron Banner armor sets, you can apply shaders to those now and make them pretty. The Illuminous Grasp Hunter Ornament with the subclass Glow will now be available in the armor synthesis. Progression towards the Tracing the Stars quest will now count for players if they pick up the Atlas SKUs before they pick up the quest, or if they pick them up on another character. And your Lucidity pre-order emblem for the Witch Queen can now be claimed from the Collections tab, because those are important things we needed. There were a couple more things they fixed in the patch notes for the hotfix they put out. Basically, fix the things in the astral alignment that were breaking that. Vault of Glass, they fixed an issue where Atheon would sometimes summon an invisible barrier to block Guardians from entering the Vault of Glass.
Seen it.
So if you couldn't get in at all, you can do that now because they fixed it and it's better now. If you're having issues where you could not discard your Solstice key fragments, that should be fixed. You should be able to dismantle those now. Incoming and outgoing Bungie friend toasts no longer play before character selection. They fixed an issue on the roster screens where it wouldn't consistently indicate whether you had blocked somebody on your Bungie friends list or not. They fixed an issue where the Fire and Ice artifact mod spawns fewer wells than they had attended. They fixed the actual cost of the global reach to 3 energy. So if you've seen your global reach change in price, fix that. That's working now.
They're absolutely trying to kill that whole thing, man.
Oh yeah, no, I mean that's what they said last week. They were like, we intended for these cells to sort of go away. They haven't, so we're going to make them.
Going to force you to get rid of them.
They corrected the insertion cost of the linear fusion rifle targeting mod to be 500 glimmer, like the other mods. Your shards of Galanor exotic armor ornament will now display its appropriate colors. Ditto for your the Radiant Dance Machines. Like Respawn was saying, fix an issue that caused a Radiant Dance Machine to trigger armor mods and stasis fragments more often than intended. They fixed an issue where the Promethean Spur would not spawn additional combination rifts after the first one. In part of this patch, which if you played the game this week, after when this came out, Thursday, I think. Yeah, Thursday, the same day the 12 dropped. Cross-play voice chat is enabled, so some communication privacy settings are still not working as intended for Xbox players. So Xbox players will still hear voice and receive invites from anyone, even if their privacy settings are set to friends or in-game friends. Xbox players will still hear voice from non-Xbox players, even if you can communicate outside of Xbox. Voice and text is set to blocked, and the Xbox players will still be able to hear other Xbox players in the Fireteam chat or team chat, even if that player is on their mute list. So there's no.
I'm glad they said that because
and he's going to be there.
Yeah, I'm glad they said that because I was skipping some medications those days, and I thought, I was hearing the voices, but
heard the voices in your head, but you aren't an Xbox player.
Man, they're back.
But they weren't the normal voices though; they were different voices, and that was freaking me out, man.
Yeah, but sir, you're a PC player, not an Xbox player, so you shouldn't have heard those voices.
I've been cross-playing on that. I have an Xbox. You don't know what I do.
I know you do, but you've said multiple times you will not slum it on the Xbox with us Xbox console peasants.
Oh, he said the thing.
I did say the thing. That's true.
He said the thing many times. we have reams and reams of tape. So those are the things they fixed. Those are and as always, we fix things. As we've discussed, making games is hard. Development is hard. So the things we know that are still broken. Now it says this is under known issues, but it says we've issued a server-side fix to resolve an issue where the Tier 3 focused Umbral engrams had no weekly limit. So I guess they've limited your Tier 3 focused weekly engrams now. So they fixed the fact that you could do it an unlimited number of times. Doesn't seem like a fix, but sure. Decrypting the Darkness quest can now be obtained from the Umbral decoder. I'm sorry. Decrypting the Darkness quest cannot be obtained from the Umbral decoder, and access to it and the Prismatic Recaster cannot be unlocked. Still broken. They're aware of it. If you're trying to make your Fallen Walker public event heroic, don't. You can't.
Not gonna happen
because the barriers surrounding them now shove you off into the air. It repels everything. You can bounce around them like you're on a trampoline. God, there's the word. Trampoline, bouncy house. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. So
speaking of trampolines, we'll do that later, I guess. The one clan that finally beat DSC after all this time, after 2 years. Those guys, not sure. DSC. What? Okay. No, come on. Demon posted it. It was a. Damn it! You've mentioned trampoline. Now I'm gonna find it because it's relevant. Son of a biscuit.
Okay, well, you do that. I'll get through this, then we can come back to that thing. Okay. So the Dawn Chorus Exotic Warlock helmet no longer extends the burn damage on enemies, and Titans, you still can't use your Worm God Caress. Hunters, your Radiant Dance Machine still don't work in Gambit and PvP activities.
Damn it.
The Red War Collections badge became unfinished with redistribution of the Exodus down armor. It doesn't affect any previously earned titles, but just know that it will show as uncompleted. Shouldn't be an issue. If you really want the Wicked Undergrowth Iron Banner shader, you can't have it because it's not obtainable. The Burning Ground Strike doesn't appear for players on Nessus if they didn't unlock it before Season of the Lost. The Prometheus Spur Exotic Warlock leg armor now seems to require a solar weapon to create healing and empowering rifts, which can only be created one time. Error code POTATO may be appearing more frequently for PC players because Steam doesn't recognize the installation folder. Your computer is now a potato. Sad. The K1 Crew Quarters Legend Lost Sector on the Moon says Void Burn in the description and the totem, but has Arc Burn in the activity.
Nice.
So if you're running the K1 Crew Quarters Legend Lost Sector, Arc Burn, not Void Burn. And the Share the Glass emblem can't be acquired from Bungie rewards. The issue will be resolved on September 7th. And that's the list of issues they tell you about. As always, the list of all the issues is in the show notes. If you're like, hey, I see a bug, does Bungie know about it? Go there, look. If not, tell them, report it to them. It will help them out. And now for a trampoline story.
Trampoline Thieves clan beat the raid in record time of 2 years. Our clan, the Trampoline Thieves, started Last Wish Raid in 2019, and we beat it for the first time yesterday. Words cannot describe how proud I am of the boys, and we'll be back for world's first Witch Queen. Joe Blackburn says, champions! If they open a merch store, I'm getting swag. Agreed. So 2 years to beat Last Wish Raid. Great job, guys. Now you've created a record that I don't think anybody can beat. Congratulations.
Is there a story behind this?
That's all it says.
Them taking 2 years to do this?
I don't know. Hopefully
Okay.
they got to like Riven, and it just took them 2 years to beat Riven. Same checkpoint, just 2 years.
I mean, that's how WoW rating used to go, so I wouldn't be entirely shocked.
Right. I mean, no, that's not possible because every week it resets. But still, it would have been funny.
Try again. Eventually you will succeed. And then we have some lovely
Yes, you
movies.
don't.
We have some lovely artwork. We have a 15-foot Hive Knight with Hunter Supers. So that's Respawn's new main going forward from Witch Queen.
Yep.
And and that's the rest of our not so beefy TWAB. They fixed things, they broke things, they made things pretty. And you got a trampoline story. What more could you ask for?
Movies of the week, artists, things like that.
Yeah, 15-foot Hive Knight with Hunter Supers. That's all you need to know.
What about a bit on the lore?
It's a real thing. I suppose we could do that. I guess that's the thing we do. I feel like we have a guy who does that sometimes. Haven't seen him in a while though.
You saw me last week.
Oh, the lore.
Some sort of lore. There was some sort of British man who talks the lore to us, and we go, those are words.
At not
Entirely.
off with not our floor. Ding 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 ding. Oh yeah, he's not here, guys. Sorry.
No, I am here. I am here.
No, he's not. He's really
Yes,
not.
You're doing that today, are you?
The British
Doing
voices
what?
are in all of our heads. It's fine.
Right? No, this is obviously Nitedemon and Houndish.
Oh, yeah. I don't sound like Houndish.
Neither does Nitedemon, but here we are.
Allegedly.
But what streamer or YouTuber do you sound like? Write into the show and tell us, who do you think Not Arf sounds like? Who can we make fun of him as? We need to find someone.
Yeah, he needs a doppelganger.
Yeah, Nitedemon is Houndish. That's just how it is.
Mm-hmm.
So do you have some lore for us? Oh, great lore sage, who was like, what day are we doing this? And we said this day at this time. And you said which time zone? And we said this time zone. And then off you went into the mists to consult the books. And you've come back to us.
More like. Yes, I have come back to you. So apologies, I had a long list of jobs to do, so they are now done, and I'm here.
Good work.
I love that honey-do list, huh?
Yeah, the kids go back to school tomorrow, so we just had to make sure we had the right bits of uniform.
Yeah, I don't really care.
and
Tell us
the right
more.
shoes.
Now, is that or is that not the warm welcome from Respawn you expected? I mean, really now, is there anything more Respawn than that?
What?
Not at all.
If Respawn had said, hey, buddy, how's it been? How you had a good week? Are things going okay? You would be weirded out right now and be like, who are you and what have you done with
Exactly that. And I believe I have said that before when he was nice once.
Yeah. How you doing? How you feeling? Oh no, I'm just not at home right now. It's fine. I'm in the airport. I have to be good. Or I don't know. Weird.
So Nullzy, not Arf, Nullzy. This is where
Nice to
Not
meet
Arf
you,
reads us
Arf.
lore, and we
Nice to
ask
meet
him
you.
stupid questions because we don't pay attention or listen to half of it, or we're just too dumb to understand it. So if you have lore questions, this is your chance, and we'll see what he has for us.
Right. In this case, if you pop your heads into the Lore Stuff channel, there is
Lore
a
Stuff
link in
channel.
there.
Link. Lore stuff.
There is.
Lore stuff.
I'm doing a very difficult Nightfall right now. I don't know if I can actually multitask. I'm doing Lake of Shadows. Yeah, I'm over there.
Well, Respawn does it badly anyway, so.
Wow! Accurate.
Yeah, so you've got a reading from the book From Beneath the Endless Night. And we're going to start with acceptance because that's where you should start. Acceptance. Then we move on to grieving. Then we move on to bullet wounds. Some sort of path like that.
Denial's in there somewhere.
We spoke about reading the lore a different way. Are we still going to try and do that? Or do you want me to begin reading this and we go from
Student
there?
teacher kind of thing. We can do student teacher. We have time this week.
Okay.
This
Okay.
is your show. Do what you want to do.
Yeah, man. This is your section.
No. My section, yes, but not my show.
Well, it's not.
Okay.
It's Nitedemon show. We all just here. We serve the pleasure of the Nitedemon. But since he's
Our
not
Lord
here,
and Savior is not here.
Mhm.
Yeah, I am.
Well,
Anyway.
while Dad's away, the kids will play.
All right, guys. So I'm gonna try to read this in a way that everybody can understand and a way that everybody can comprehend. All right. This is the thing we wanted to start a while ago. Just haven't had the time because our lore scribe has been, who knows damn where, right? Anyway, So the
I've been
idea
everywhere.
is I'm supposed to be the student. I'm supposed to be learning from this, and he asks questions or people ask me questions or whatever, right? So I'm going to read this in a way that everybody can understand and hopefully I can comprehend and, more importantly, retain. And we're going to go from there. Let us know if you like this or not. And if you don't like it, we might do it anyway because I don't care. It's not your show. Shut up. I Acceptance is the title of this lore. It is from the book of...
Beneath the Endless Night.
That one. Yeah, right here. Book, right there. It was obvious had I looked.
It's going great.
Focus. What's my character? What's my motivation?
Into the miasma you go.
I, the most qualified for this. Crow's voice reverberated off of the immense window, making the Vanguard Commander's office feel even more cavernous than it was. At night, the edges of Zavala's office were usually dark, but the miasma of Vex energy that swirled the city below made it more so. Crow sighted and placed the gloom like a caged animal. Zavala faced the window and stood unmoving, a statue carved of Larimar, depicting a test of infinite patience. He glanced over at Ikora, her hands gently clasped as she watched Crow with disquieted contemplation. "We know," she said, after what felt like an eternity. "But your expertise and relationship with the Elixni aren't the only deciding factors here." "Exactly how long am I going to be continually tried in a court of public opinion?" Crow asked pointedly. "And when is this trial I will be given a clear understanding of what I'm on trial for?" Zavala regarded the Awoken's reflection in the window. It reminded him of the near-fatal walk through the gardens not all that long ago. His shoulders sagged. "Crow," Zavala said as he turned to face him, "this is a delicate situation. The consensus has come down hard on us for welcoming the Elixni into the city, and I can't have them using you as another bludgeon." "So this is all a political maneuver?" Crow pushed. "To protect yourself? No hard feelings? Nothing behind the looks you give me when you don't think I'm watching?" Zavala stiffened, and Crow sensed the controversial temperature in the room change. "This matter aside, your past identity became public, but we had a plan in place. It could cause considerable harm to you and to the people you care about," Ikora said evenly, even though I just did it in Zavala's voice, my bad. "People who have come to care about you," she added. For a long time, no one spoke, and when Crow did, his voice was small. "Then what? I keep hiding from the shadow of the man I was before? Forever?" "Not forever," Ikora said firmly. "But for now." Crow shifted his focus to Ikora and saw the hurt in her eyes. He'd seen it in Amanda's too whenever she spoke of the dead. Without another word, he nodded and left. Ikora closed her eyes, and the breath she'd been holding slowly left her. "He's going for Osiris," she warned. "And if Osiris is half the leader he's shown himself to be, he'll tell him the same thing," Zavala said with great fatigue, finally sinking into his chair. In the momentary silence that settled between them, Ikora felt an unspoken reciprocation of their generations-old friendship. "I don't know how long we can protect him," she confessed. "Neither do I," says Zavala. "All right. Love it. Very nice." Stopping right here at this point right here. Somebody, at some point in time since he's been revived, has to have mentioned Cade, right? As they're beating him to death, the multiple times that they have beaten him to death or killed him, multiple different times that they've killed him, somebody, at least at one point in time, would have said, "This is for Cade. This is for killing Cade. How dare you do that to Cade?" Something, right? Somebody would have mentioned something in the multiple instances he was being beaten to death, right? The fact that he still doesn't know it, and the fact that Bungie is making us think he still doesn't know it, guys, move up your game a little bit. I understand you're trying to keep it a mystery, but there's no way in a real-world environment, if somebody had killed him as often as he has been killed, not one person would have mentioned Cade or what he did to Cade. A little unbelievable, but we're moving on.
Who's Kate?
That was a fantastic Banshee impression, by the way, Peroty. Appreciate it.
Doing my best.
What did you get from this?
I got that because the elixir there and Crow's identity became public knowledge before they planned on it. Somebody's using that as a political move in order to take power, right? They're using the elixir as a negative point, and the fact that Crow is being accepted into the, if not the Vanguard, then at the very least the Tower, and people is using that against Zavala and Ikora in order to become the new de facto leaders. Maybe not necessarily of the Vanguard, but of the city.
That's correct. However, what they're trying to do here is prevent any further damage by revealing that Cade's killer is working for them to the rest of there's people, the information is out there, but it's not common knowledge.
Gotcha.
And if you go back to your rant, if you're already taking a kicking from someone throwing flaming hammers at you, you don't really hear what they're shouting.
Yeah, but he is a spy. Are you telling me that all the time that he's been lurking around, not one time he's been able to glean knowledge about why people are upset at him? I mean, it's kind of his whole spiel. He's the whole cloak and dagger thing, right?
He's already worked out he was a bad person. Well, not necessarily a bad person, but didn't.
He did a
always
bad
make...
thing.
Yes.
I don't think that he was a bad person because what he did, because he wasn't himself, technically speaking.
But all the ins and outs of the whole thing won't be common knowledge. We already know in previous lore entries that he's already decided not to be that person and do as much good as he can.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why he's maybe not actually listening to that or not connected the two, because he has decided not to look into his history. Or he did not want to find out the man he previously was.
So that's in there somewhere. Like, we know he's avoiding what he did, because I don't remember that.
No, it's not kind of avoiding what he did, but learning of who he was could affect the man he's become.
Okay, I can see where that goes. Like, if you have amnesia and you try to be a good person, but you found out you used to be a serial killer or whatever, you might think that you'll become that person again, and by freaking out and overthinking that you might become that person again, you inadvertently become that person again. Kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Mm-hmm. It's a bit like why Banshee had his memory wiped when he became Banshee and not Clovis 44.
Right.
Changed his name, changed his identity, wiped his memory.
Right.
Because he didn't want to be that person or associated with that person.
Yeah, but to be fair, he's been wiped 44 times. Even if he didn't forget who he was, odds are he wouldn't be cognitive enough to realize what was going on. 44 wipes is a lot.
The thing about that, though, is it's not a wipe. If you remember the lore from Beyond Light, it's just creating new walls in their memory.
Yeah, but
the memories are still there.
Yeah, but if you remember, the more, I'm calling it a wipe, right? The more times you go through this procedure, the more unstable you become.
It's not a case of DER.
It's not?
It's not the DER. No, he was killed. The body was killed in the battle with the Vex.
But every time you come back,
it's not
you
a
become
wipe.
less and less stable.
It's not a reset. They haven't actually reset him. They've just actually set up another frame and downloaded the same copy to him with the previous
Banshee
memories.
Isn't a real EXO. That's the issue.
Well, he's a real EXO now.
Him from backup.
There's no organic portion of Banshee.
Yeah, it is the Vex juice in him. That's the organic.
No, but I mean, normally there's essence of original human in an EXO, whereas Banshee is a program that's been uploaded to a frame, whereas the Clovis AI is probably the closer of the two to being Clovis.
That's right, because the intelligence was actually uploaded to Banshee without any of the memories.
Okay. I didn't know that there were organic parts left over from.
He's like the best version of those security frames from the Lost Sectors.
Gotcha. Okay.
But has been around for much longer. And when on his 40, he wiped the majority of his memories, or he had Elsie wipe the majority of his memories on his 44th download to a new chassis.
Okay.
And that's when he truly became the Banshee we know today.
Okay, that's what that means. Because I thought that the number indicates how often they've been resurrected, air quotes. And every time you're resurrected, you lose more and more of yourself. That's why Cade couldn't remember who he was.
You're
from
right.
His past
You're
lives.
right about that. It's just Banshee doesn't fall into that category
because he's got the better hardware and software versions than anybody else.
What a game hack!
Not overinsert
Get
myself.
outta
If you
here.
remember the Clovis journals, Clovis talks about how the reason why the exo derangement thing happens is that not that he couldn't solve it, he didn't care. It wasn't worth his time. But when he was recreating a version of himself, he put the extra effort in to make sure that didn't happen. Banshee is the perfect exo. Well, Clovis 43 was.
Yeah. So nobody else can resurrect themselves as many times like he can. He's the only one with this hardware.
He's a program at this point. It's Clovis's consciousness in digital form, whereas I play an exo. Our version of the exos are like biomasses crammed into robotic. It's like we're RoboCop. We're actually more like the robot guy. I forget his name from RoboCop. It's a brain in a shell.
Okay.
Banshee's just an operating system. You pull, you take the ISO, you load it onto a new piece. If that one dies, you load it again.
Perfect. Sorry.
Nope, go for it.
No, I'd say the perfect metaphor for Banshee is he's Tron. Banshee is Tron. If you're familiar with Tron.
And now we've
Are we talking Tron the AI? Are you talking about
Tron the AI, as in
okay.
like the image of himself he created to be a protector.
Okay.
He's a program. He's designed to basically protect what's left of humanity.
Was Cortana also an AI? Would that be a reasonable?
Cortana is strictly an AI. Yeah.
She's the opposite. I think she gained sentience eventually. I think hers was kind of backwards.
Yeah, but in the end, they're both AIs. One of them just started with sentience. The other one developed it later.
Complex story writing, folks. It's a beautiful thing.
Okay. So we move on to chapter 2.
Fractures? Right here?
Fractures, yes.
Okay.
Good job.
Hey, I'm learning how to navigate things. Yay.
If I can have any contribution to this, can we call it Hooked our Phonics? No? All right.
I don't get it. Is the thing.
That's beautiful.
Why hooked our phonics?
It's hooked our phonics.
Oh, hooked ARF. Oh, I misheard.
It didn't work for Respawn.
Mostly because I didn't understand. So, chapter 2. Zavala stared at the terminal window until the words blurred together. He lowered his head and rubbed his eyes, trying to collect his thoughts. There were reports from hunters in the field, increased Vex activity across the system, coordinated attacks on Vanguard operations, anomalous disturbances within the city, all on top of Elixir and human confrontations within the city walls. A buzzing hum bloomed to life over Zavala's shoulder, followed by the gentle weight of a ghost that came to settle there. Is this the best use of your time? Tarj wondered aloud, which elicited a look from the corner of Zavala. Tarj rarely spoke. When he did, there was always I don't recall asking for your opinion, Zavala said as he tried to refocus. I don't recall giving one. Zavala turned this time to give Tarj another look. You two can keep doing all the work of 3 people, Tarj insisted. Talk to Anna again. Zavala leaned back in his chair. Tarj, there's no way I'm going to convince. An alert chimed in at the command console to his right. Incoming call from Empress Keitel, Tarj said wearily. Let it go to depot. Zavala stubbornly rose from his chair. No, he said, receiving the call. Keitel's imperial seal appeared on the screen with a notice. Audio only. Empress Keitel, to what do I owe the pleasure? Zavala asked, tiredly scratching a hand over his stubble. Tarj watched for a moment before he dematerialized. Commander! Keitel greeted, her voice swelling to fill the room as if she was standing there. The fleet's long-range sensors detected a growing anomaly located in the vicinity of the last city. Why the sudden concern? Keitel snorted. I bear no concern, Commander. But if the Vanguard were suddenly annihilated, it would behoove me to at least be aware. Of course, Zavala said softly. We're still here. For now. The leading edge in her tone hooked him. Why are you really calling? There was no response from the other side for a few moments. When Keitel spoke next, her tone was as measured as before, but lacked any performative airs. Lakshmi 2's latest broadcast to the city reached our fleet, she said. You're truly a proud hawk standing in a nest of vipers, aren't you? Lakshmi is a politician. Words are the most dangerous of weapons, Commander, Keitel reminded him. It begins as whispering conviction, and then full-voiced dissent. And then the next thing you know, you'll wake with a knife driven into your chest. Spoken from experience? Zavala jabbed back. Spoken from experience. Keitel doubled down, unashamed. Lakshmi is undermining the Vanguard's authority by diminishing your role in the eyes of the people. Spoken loudly enough and often enough, her words may begin to make sense to even those who are not of the same mind. Zavala sighed, and Keitel felt its weight all the way across the system. I trust you to honor the terms of our armistice. I do not trust whomever your successor might be, Keitel warned. Zavala weighed anger and intrigue against one another, finding the scales a useless tool in arbitrating his response to the situation. He stepped back to the console and did as Cade might say, just wing it. This is not the first threat to my authority I've weathered, Zavala said, his voice rising. So don't delude yourself into thinking otherwise. And don't you dare come at me for whatever remorse you might be feeling about disposing your father. Zavala heard the low rumble of an appreciative vocalization over the speakers. I do not feel remorse because Callus was my father, Keitel explained, her tone softening. I feel remorse for what of Gaul did to my people. We opened the door for the hive, handed Zivu a wrath knife, and were surprised when we felt the kiss of steel in our spine. I hate to see a warrior I admire and respect do the same thing with a less worthy adversary, but perhaps you're not in need of such unsolicited counsel. Zavala looked up, out the lightless city beyond, and closed his eyes. And what counsel is that? What Keitel said next was not in the voice of an empress, but a friend. Ulmunarath was my most trusted counselor. The darkness has many hands. Will you recognize its caress before it finds your throat?
So, first thing I got from that was you can say Ulmunarath, but you can't say Lakshmi.
How was I saying it?
Lakshmi.
Oh, Lakshmi. Okay.
It made me want sushis and sashimis and Lakshimis.
Lakshmi. Okay. Well, I mean, pick and choose, right?
This is fairly basic. This is Keitel warning Zavala that there's something going on in the city, which we already know is the Endless Night, and that Lakshmi is a major threat, which, to be honest, I think Zavala's playing down a bit at this point.
Yeah. I mean, up to this point, why would he have reason to doubt her? I mean, she's been part of the faction in the tower for God knows how many years, generations, centuries, right? So, if she hadn't done anything to this point...
This goes back to the Concordat, because the Concordat were actually expelled from the city, I believe, before they were before they were actually evicted from the consensus.
All right.
Now, whether actually the other factions were involved in that, we don't know. But there's a strong opinion that the fact they didn't like what the Concordat was saying, and they basically just said no and got rid of them effectively.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
It was a complete setup to get Future War Cult in there.
Fair enough.
So, what else? Do you have any more questions on this before we move on to the next one, or?
I think this was pretty clear. It just built on the last chapter where, somebody was trying to use these events to kind of gain power, and this is what's her face. They've identified who it is that's doing this, more or less, right? And yeah, I mean it's pretty self-explanatory, I think.
They've identified the stooge that's doing this, but they haven't identified who it actually is. And the underlying tone in this, that Zavala is actually getting quite friendly with Keitel, and there's a bit of a rapport there now.
Okay.
Which previously was unheard of.
I mean, I saw that, but I thought that they had a rapport already up to this point, so I didn't look into it. But so this is them building that rapport, or coming to that rapport right here. Okay.
Well, building it. I think it's already been built. It's just it's now designed in text what they are doing, and how they do get on now.
Okay, fair enough. Chapter 3, Gifts from the Shore. Though the metal crate they were carrying likely weighed more than they did, the true Elixir gave Saint 14 a wide berth on their way to Elixir Quarter. Ooh, I've seen this one. See how they distrust Saint Crumble? Oh, here we go. Now I can do my Russian accent. Okay, here we go. You see how they distrust Saint Crumbled? Amanda Holiday scanned the crate into her datapad. Unexpected shipment of emergency supplies from the Tangled Shore nearly offloaded. Don't be such a sourpuss, she said lightly, mixing the new folks good for the soul. I mix, objected Saint, but the fallen, they do not enjoy my company, and I feel the same for them. Maybe that's exactly why I picked you for this, Amanda said. Almost fully helmeted, she could swear he rolled his eyes. Two more Elixir came bearing another crate. One noticed Saint too late and stumbled, dropping the crate. Its security locks popped as it crashed into the ground. Those are really bad security locks, damn. A young Elixir wearing...
Hang on. How did Amanda become a good old Southern girl?
She's Texan?
She worked for the Texas Arcana, sweetie. That's how she became a Southern gal.
Exactly. He picked up on it, right? Come on, now.
What Waffle House did I just stumble into?
Wow. A young Elixir wearing the House of Light colors and a bright orange and blue Vanguard lanyard scampered over in distress. Saint sighed. It is fine, he said to the Elixir. Spider probably sends more surplus from Old House of Dusk. Knowing you can carry supplies from our enemies is great joke to him. He dragged the crate out of the walkway with one hand and knelt to repair the locks. As Amanda scanned the damaged crate, the young Elixir came closer. He eyed Saint warily and then held up a sheaf of paper like a shield. Manifest, he said heatingly. I can't do an Elixir, so deal with it. Thank you, Amanda said with an unforced brightness. She tapped her datapad. I've got it digitally. You got it digitally. Echoed the Elixir. He fidgeted for a moment, then proudly held up the badge on his lanyard, which read, temporary. Jeez. Amanda smiled. What you got there? Authorization for unloading of supplies from Tangled Shore. Of supplies sent from Spider, he said, leaning in slowly, looking carefully at Saint and Amanda. My gentleman, he added, slyly. Amanda snorted so abruptly that Saint fumbled with a lock, crushing it in his hand. Saint looked up. Can you two not be quiet? Come on now, Amanda admonished Saint lightly. I don't hear you practicing your Elixir, and this fella's doing his best to bridge the gap. Amanda turned back to the Elixir. That ain't exactly right, but you speak our language pretty well, she said. Thank you, answered the Elixir. clearly eager for the conversation. Do all humans here serve spider kelp? Serve spider? Amanda spat. Spider's nothing but a... And then the 5 spirited words that followed were replete with hard consonants. The Elixir froze, wary of her tone while not understanding her words. Amanda caught herself and took a breath. Which is our way of saying he's kind of a generous individual, she said to the Elixir, who nodded along with her. This lock has been ruined by distraction, Saint said as he rose to his feet. He removed the lid and looked inside, and then lifted a loose coil of rubbery tubes. Servitor, plugs, filters, ether circulator. The Titan made a confused noise. Something wrong? Amanda said. Not at all, mumbled Saint as he picked up a golden cylinder trailing branded sapphire cords. This rebreather alone is worth more than any ship. Amanda moved towards Saint and looked for herself. She recognized a few necessary survival items: condensed prefab ceramic plating, vapor distillers, generator couplings, but amongst the tubes and filters were otherworldly treasures. A nanomesh sphere filled with a thick pink liquid, a chrome conduit spinner with entropic plating, a glimmering opal sparkling in a nest of delicate lavender sponges. What the hell is Spider playing at? Amanda said to herself. She called out to the Elixir. Are they all like this? Yes, each one very full of delights from our culture, from our home. We are very thankful. He cocked his head and clicked. Thankful? Amanda nodded. Let me see that manifest, she said. Taking the papers from Elixir, he nodded and rejoined the other workers. They will still need many of our resources to stay here, Saint said as he carefully resealed the crate. But this will make things easier. I am surprised Spider's so generous to even his own people. Amanda frowned at the manifest. This doesn't make sense, she said. There's a note at the top. Don't know what half this stuff is, but it's gotta be good if Spider hired it. It's all written by hand, and there aren't... It's all written by hand, and there aren't any values for anything on here. Saint looked at the paper over Amanda's shoulder. The crates came from Spider's what? Storehouse? He said. If he did not send it, then who did? Look at this listing, Amanda continued. This item says best osmosis filters, hidden in the bottom drawer. This item's just a row of question marks. Here's one listed as a clock thing. This line says a noisy cube smells bad, but everybody likes it. And what's with this signature? Amanda squinted at the shape scrawled on the bottom of the form. Is it a ship? She guessed, handing the paper to Saint. Titan turned his head as he looked at the drawing. Aha! He cried, slapping the paper with the back of his hand. Look, it's burnt! Amanda looked again at the uneven charcoal lines and could just make out a wobbly black bird. She let out a long breath and shook her head. Awful artist, she said, but I guess he's an all-right guy. And suddenly, she was smiling.
Right, so what we're looking at here is basically somebody's done over the Spider and sent some of his best worldly goodies to the city.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Crow
that
totally robbed him blind. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
There's no getting that. So Crow,
and it's definitely looking like Amanda's got a bit of a soft spot for him.
Yeah. So when I first heard this, because I first heard this on Bife, right? And what I gleaned from this was the fact that so Spider not only wants to be a part of the Vanguard and wants to do right by them, but it sounds like he's overdoing it because he doesn't know what his crimes are in the past. So he's sending them lavish things in order, I guess, to kind of compensate for past crimes. You know what I'm saying? Because he's not just getting them needed supplies. He's getting them treasures. He's getting them really, really good stuff from Spider. So, yeah. That's what I gleaned from it. I think he's overcompensating.
If I can interject a little bit. Is
Go
he
for
maybe
it.
behaving like a crow would?
Stealing all the shiny things.
He's getting
Yeah,
the
but
shiny things
crows-
for the person
crows
that feeds
keep-
him.
I guess.
Brilliant writing is what it is.
And also, the Elixni, who's got the temporary lanyard, is seen in other lore as well. As if I actually find the right way of reading them, there's some of the weapon lore from Season of the Splicer, and it
Yeah,
actually tells the story of this particular Elixni.
He gets killed in the end, if I'm remembering correctly.
It's never
right?
revealed if he gets killed. But the last thing is they were
insinuated
going
that he
to.
gets killed.
It's insinuated he gets killed, and his brother goes looking for him. It's quite a sad story, actually. But remember the 5 hard consonants that Amanda says about the spider kill?
Yeah.
Because he thinks they're a good thing, he goes and gets himself a nice bowl of ramen in the city.
Oh no!
And because he likes it, he offers to pay the ramen shop vendor, and he said no, it's free, it's a gift. And because he thinks they're words for a nice man, he repeats them. And basically, the woman that actually tortures and is insinuated it kills him heard that.
That's how that comes together.
That's how that comes together. But there's a whole story actually following. If you read the lore in the right sections, and there's about 3 chapters out of the book and several pieces of weapon lore. Actually tells you the whole story of this Elixni's journey around the city. And you'll recognise it's him because it always mentions his lanyard that says temporary.
Mm-hmm. Who'd have known that temporary meant him and not just his access, huh?
Well, yeah, it's quite it's a well written. I'd like to say I don't want to say it's a nice story because it's not a nice story, but it's extremely well written.
Mm-hmm.
And when the Elixni's, I'm not sure how you say it, if his brother or sister comes looking for him, they get accosted by a group of people, and basically they get saved by a hunter wielding stasis, and basically the crowd disperse, and the hunter stands there and speaks to the Elixni, and the Elixni just shies away from this hunter and said, makes some comment about how the darkness corrupts and leaves.
You heard it here, folks. Cade 7 confirmed. No, I'm joking.
No, Cade 7's already been and gone, mate. I've told you this before.
I know. Cade 7's never existed.
No, Cade 7 has existed. I can't remember exactly what war book it is, but it states it's in Cade. I think it might be the Treasure Island lore book. It said 6 is a lucky number. There's been many more, but I stopped counting at 6.
Yeah, I understand that, but no, mate.
So if he stopped counting at 6, that means there's been Cade 7, Cade 8, Cade 9, potentially hundreds of Cades. Well, not hundreds of Cades, but you get my gist here.
Although that would explain if there was 100 Cades, his behavior.
Yes, it would. All right. Yeah. Any more questions?
No, I think these were pretty self-explanatory chapters you picked.
Well, no, they're just in order. I didn't pick them. I picked the book, and we started at the beginning, and we'll finish at the end.
Yeah, but they've explained themselves pretty well. There's not a whole lot of insight to be gleaned from these. You know, they're pretty outspoken, aside from the temporary one that most people probably don't know about. But yeah, I liked it. It was good. It was a good read.
No, this is a very good book, to be honest, and I do actually like this book. It's not my favorite one, but it is very well written, and so it's some of the best lore coming out in this season I've seen.
Well, that's good. Very good to know. We got Arv's favorite book here confirmed.
No, it's one of my favorite book. My favorite book is Legacy's Lament.
All right, Arv's favorite book is Legacy's. You said the same thing. All right, you two. You got anything to add?
No, I mean I'm loving that. I actually haven't dove into that book yet. Other than some of the later chapters that were revelatory. No. I was actually curious to see if Arf had read the lore on the Forge's Pledge yet, and if he's also concerned about Savathun's well-being right now.
I'm just starting to get into this season. To be honest, I tend to avoid the spoilers of the lore for the first few weeks.
Oh, this isn't lore at all. This is this is one of the most beautifully I mean, it is technically lore, but it's not spoiler lore. The Forge's Pledge, the new pulse rifle that came out for Iron Banner, is a love song to Iron Lord Saladin's rage, and basically Savathun should Savathun should pray that we find her before he does, because it's not going to end well.
Oh, from whenever she slept with Saint, you mean?
No. Well, it's related to that. This is Saladin's reaction to finding about everything.
Well, did she want Saint?
Oh,
instead?
Saladin. I don't know why.
No, it's
Saladin,
related to that though.
Osiris.
It's part of that. I don't want to spoil it. You kind of want to read it first.
Is it one of these pieces of lore that almost sits between the two seasons?
Oh no, there's no information. I mean, they linked it right. It's a short little one.
I'll tell you what. I'll read that next week as a beginner, and then we'll carry on with Beneath the Endless Night.
I look forward to hearing that.
Thank you. Right, I'll bid you good night. Or good morning.
Good night.
Yes, and I'll see you later.
And we'll actually see you next week. You'll obligate yourself now, so we'll see you then.
We'll see.
See you then.
Didn't sound convincing when he left.
Not even a little bit. No. He's gone. We've lost him.
All right.
I feel like the weapon lore as of late has been almost better than some of the books.
It is pretty on point. I'll give it that. It is.
The weapon lore. I don't always like. I don't read it like for every weapon. I'll look and peek, and just some of them just give me a good laugh. Even just the ones in game. If it's good in game, I'm like, okay, let me pull up Ishtar and see what the rest of it is. But
like the Crucible arms from last season, I think it might have been from 14. The Pinion Grass, where it basically just shows Shax's joy at finding out there's a new type of grenade being used in the Crucible. He doesn't care anything about the stasis.
I didn't hear anything about that. What?
It's the lore on the I think the Pinion Grass.
Let's take a look at that. There's new grenades? I love it. All right. If there's nothing else, I'd say close it up and dip out for today.
Sure.
I gotta do my stuff.
There's a report. It's even named after you. Come on now.
Yeah. Dagnabbit. All right.
They all throwing new grenades.
Right.
It's beautiful.
Okay, that's yesterday. That's September 3rd.
Yeah, it starts with the week with no demon.
Okay, fine. Destiny news. Bungie has in fact confirmed that Vanguard reputation will get 2 times boosts in the future as well. Boosts have all been streamlined to 2 times for the full week. Vanguard will have 2 times weeks in the future by Dylan Gaffner. Excuse me.
Our buddy DMG.
Right?
Yeah, so if there's a boost, it's going to double it. That's what they're telling us, and it's no more guessing how much will it have? When will it have? The same all the way through, which is lovely.
The Share the Glass emblem can't be acquired from Bungie rewards. This issue will be resolved on September 7th. I think this is the one the Sherpas get if they Sherpa so many things, I believe. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the emblem the Sherpas get right there. It's pretty cool. I mean, I like it, but whatever.
Yeah, it sounds right.
Cactus HD. When Trials of Osiris returns to Destiny 2, you'll be able to focus Trials engrams into the loot you want. Awesome. But why not also do what with Iron Banner? Maybe he said that. Maybe do that with Iron Banner. And I agree. I especially after this season, dude, I can't even right now. So, did you get any of the new Pulse Rifle parody?
I do. But before we get into this, Paul Tassi basically agrees with you.
Knowing that you guys are working on like 80,000 things at a time, what about just like an interim microfix? Weapon/armor choice split at least cuts RNG in half. Any changes being at a minimum of 6 months away is still tough. There you go. DMG is going to be next.
Yeah, so I did answer your question. To answer your question, I did throw a bunch of the Iron Banner tokens at Selden before I started, and I've gotten a couple of them to drop, I think.
Yeah,
but it doesn't really do it for me. And there's actually a video we'll talk about here in a little bit about why exactly it doesn't really do it for me. But yeah, I really want to love it. It's just I'm not there yet.
I actually quite enjoyed it. I even used it because I had a half decent role in PvP, and it felt like the messenger without the whole desperado thing. I liked the feel of it, but I also had a pretty decent role. But I didn't get the role that I wanted. That's what I'm getting into. My hunter, I threw all of my tokens that my hunter had at Salad. It was like 500-600, I can't remember, but it was a lot, right? Threw all those tokens at him. Didn't get a single new pulse rifle. Got a lot of old pulse rifles. Got a lot of old scout rifles. Not a single new pulse rifle. So then I jump on my other characters and I do their stuff. And I did end up getting like 5 or 6 of the pulse rifles, but all of them are half the role I wanted. I wanted either, and I gave myself a 50-50, either hitting up Rampage or what's the one that works with multi-kill clip? The one that synergizes with that?
I don't know.
It's the Vision one. Hold on, I'll look it up in dim for a second. Pulling up right now. This
Tunnel
one.
Vision. You're thinking of Tunnel Vision.
Thank you. I am thinking Tunnel Vision. Or Tunnel Vision multi-kill clip. Or Tunnel Vision kill clip, right? I'd have been happy with either one of those. But Bungie said, you know what? We'll give you Tunnel Vision on a bunch of these. We'll give you heating up on a bunch of these. And we'll give you Rampage on a couple of these. But we won't give you one that's got them both.
You can't have nice things.
Right?
Yeah.
Made me mad. But yeah, so many tokens and not a single new pulse rifle. It was ridiculous, man. DMG says
have more tokens. That's your problem.
Yeah.
Not enough tokens.
Whatever. DMG says still takes time that's being spent on alternate things. Diving into UI and setting up reward sites can be a tricky business, so it's better to hold until having proper time and full attention from the team to get it done in full. We'll get there. Okay, I don't think that had any substance to it, but take a drink just because. Paul Tassi says a formal Bungie dev on crunch there.
And then the image below is what we're referring to starting at the bottom and going up. Or no, starting at the top and going down. Where does he pull these from?
Gedalia replying to at Mike Nicolella? I don't know. How much crunching does Bungie do? Mike Nicola, it can vary by team, but I understand it to be pretty mild. In general, I worked there for 7 years and had a single week of mandatory overtime. I was asked to work a 50-hour week. Gedala, thanks. When I was in the industry early 2000s, I had months of mandated 60-hour weeks. Holy crap. I'm glad Bungie compensates folks well. It seems like many places don't. On the other hand, many places barely get by. Nicola replies again. Bungie is privileged to have a created world-class entertainment that people love. I've always felt that they were generous and have been especially respectful of people's time and outside lives. Moving on to Bungie Help. We have resolved multiple issues in a server-side fix. Wicked Overgrowth Iron Banner Shader can now be obtained. Decrypting the Darkness quest can now be acquired and completed. And Parallax Trajectory Cap has been increased from 1,500 to 3,000. Thank you! But I still keep maxing it out. Update. This is Bungie Help again. Update. PlayStation players who were still encountering this issue should now be able to retrieve their pre-order items from Master Raoul in the tower after restarting Destiny 2. Players still having issues should let us know in our help forum. Stand by, guys.
While Respawn goes to those help forums to request assistance.
And he's gone. It is nice that the the report roundup today actually kind of validated our long and winding conversation earlier by tying it in nicely into a little package at the end there about how awesome Bungie is for, actually caring about their development team and their products.
Yeah, it did. I mean, I do want to point out, he said, we work 50-hour weeks, which I would classify as overtime to begin with, but at least, again, yeah, it's certainly been a lot worse at other places, again, like the examples given. So yeah, that was beautifully summed up that for a conversation he never even knew was going to happen.
I mean, 10-hour days aren't like, I'm in retail management. 10-hour days are kind of what we do.
Yeah,
true.
True.
It's not like they're mandatory 60 is when it starts getting like, but some of these guys are doing like mandatory 72-hour overtime. They're there 12 hours a day, 5-6 days a week.
Yeah.
Not just programming. I work in 911, and people, half the time, you don't even know what a call taker is or what they do, right? So when you call 911, the call taker that picks up, I've been to many, many sites literally around the world, not just in America, but around the world, where they have mandatory overtime. Like, these people work their butts off, and like, I understand the ambulance people being called heroes and the nurses and the doctors and the police, and they are, right? But at the same time, the people that field those calls and have to hear the initial WTF is going on and then send them to the correct people, they work really hard too, man. And it's crazy what they do behind the scenes that nobody ever recognizes. So I'm gonna give them a little recognition here. Shout out to the call takers in the emergency industries, because definitely unsung heroes, But
yeah.
whatever.
When you dial that 9 and that 1 and that 1, you want someone to be there and to give you help, and that's
always are. Yeah,
24
hours a day, 7 days a week, no vacations, no holidays, no nothing. It's crazy.
And when you compare that to somebody doing a mandatory 50 hours of something they've spent their entire life waiting to do for one of the best companies to do it for,
yeah,
sure, I think we're complaining
Yeah.
on their behalf more than they complain. I think they're
Right.
probably
No,
all
certainly,
very
certainly.
okay with it.
right.
I'm guessing many work more than that purely out of passion. Like, they want it to be, the right product. They want their art to be, received well.
And last but certainly least, Nitedemon says, PSA, you can now also complete the previous Iron Banner quest from the last season if you still have it in your inventory, and it will still give you all the rewards, all the pinnacles. So there you go. Bam.
Because of course he does.
Because of course he does. All right, I think that's it. Double checking, making sure there's nothing else hidden. We got Respawn's, we got lore stuff, we got podcast chat. Anything in there? Nope.
We
Questions
have
and
everything
feedback.
in.
Here we go. We got questions and feedback. All right, here we go. Grim Zeal. Hey, Guardians! Grim Zeal here. This comment is directed at
Is he Billy Mays? I'm confused.
Who cares? It's directed at Respawn, who may recognize me from chatting with him during his Pokemon Nuzlocke. Oh, Grim Zeal! Okay, yeah, I know the name now.
During his Pokemon Nuzlocke? I need context.
I was bored and there was nothing to do in Destiny, so I tried a Pokemon Nuzlocke, and it went pretty well. And like the second thing I came across,
I'm gonna need context on what a Pokemon Nuzlocke
so Peroty. So have you played Diablo?
Yes.
Are you familiar with hardcore characters?
Yes.
It's that, but Pokemon.
Okay.
The game can't force you to do it, but it's like if a Pokemon dies, they're dead.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So it's a challenge. Okay, I got you now.
Yeah, and there's like other rules, like you can only catch one in a new area, and it has to be the first one you come across, otherwise you're boned. Yeah,
gotcha.
There's a whole bunch of rules.
Okay.
Yeah.
At least there's context where I can understand what we're talking about. Very good.
Gotcha.
Carry on.
But all are welcome to enjoy this information. I just listened to the most recent episode, and I'm here to sway Respawn's opinion on the new Iron Banner helmet for hunters. Have you ever heard of Jiangxi? Yes, I have actually. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I know what you're talking about, the Chinese ghost masked priests or whatever, or ghost zombies or something. But yeah, it's rooted in there somewhere.
It's a Chinese hopping vampire.
It's a Chinese hopping vampire. Okay, well there you go.
Right.
It's a type of reanimated corpse in Chinese legends and folklore. Yeah, I've had to kill them a lot in like Final Fantasy games and stuff, so I'm familiar with them. They are commonly depicted wearing talismans over their face, but not just them. Other mythological beings such as zombies, onis, demons, etc. have also been presented in the media with cloth masks, just like our new hunter. As an example, Master Kyonshi from Yu-Gi-Oh! Are one of my favorite monsters. I hear you, right? But here's the thing. what you're telling me is now my hunter's a zombie?
No, a vampire.
A hopping vampire? Actually, if you think about it, a zombie would be more fitting because we cannot die.
Yeah, but I've never seen movement like that from a zombie. Even
but
a fast running
I've
zombie.
never seen a guardian drinking blood.
Hopping vampire is a way better hunter description.
Anyway, so even though I get the lore behind the mask, visually speaking, lore aside, I think the lore is cool behind what they do, right? But visually speaking, I do still think it's ugly. So, just from that point of view, it's ugly. Oh, there's more. It's my love for urban myths and legends that makes me love this new hunter, as well as the Mask of the Quiet One. That's the Titan one, right? The chain one with the okay.
Yeah, the chain one.
I hope you found this interesting, and perhaps listeners will too. My apologies for the long feedback. I wish you all a wonderful day/evening. P.S. The horns on the new Titan Iron Banner helmet are glorious. No, they're not. They're not even the same size. And then somebody replied, "Thank you for our new segment. Respawn reacts." There we go. Grim Zeal again. That would be a good YouTube series to take going forward. Just recordings of Respawn reacting to TWABs every week. I just got this message in our clan chat from him. Oh, from me. Okay, so rare moment incoming. I just read the TWAB. Another rare moment after seeing the Vex buffs. I need to get it. So anyone want to help me run the raid tonight on my Warlock and Titan? The timing is impeccable. That never happened, by the way. Nobody volunteered.
Also, I would like to volunteer that we have done 137 or 8 episodes of Respawn blindly reacting to the TWAB. So it's not on YouTube, but it's here for your audio listening pleasure.
Right. Actually, it is on YouTube. Between you and him, y'all have put most of them on YouTube.
This is true.
Just finished your last episode. Who is this from? I don't see a name. There's no name. Sorry, dude. There's no name. He didn't give me your name. Just finished your last episode. Glad not ARF set you guys straight on the final shape conversation. Lol.
Looks like Grimzeal still. It's the same icon as above. So I'm guessing it's Grimzeal again.
Okay. Might be him again.
We'll give him credit.
Yeah, and thank you for once again getting "Stop Killing the Blight" stuck in my head. So
you're welcome.
You're very welcome to that. But at the same time, it's a passion of mine that if you're new to Destiny, and even worse, if you're not new to Destiny, you know how to make it a heroic event. And the fact that you're not just means you're an right? That's all it is. You know how to do it. It's easy to do. Hell, I can one man do it. It's not a difficult thing. And the fact that you are purposely deciding not to do it is what's so infuriating about it. Just stop shooting the damn blight. Shoot the thing in the air when you have the buff. That's it. It's not that hard, guys. Anyway. Shush, it's not that hard.
Yeah, so no, Grimzeal, thank you for the feedback. And, we are happy to receive long feedback. Send us a novella, send us an email, send us, this looks like he just came in through Instagram, maybe. So, yeah, however you listen, however you want to reach out, go for it. Nitedemon monitors all the things. He's waiting, he's watching, he's listening. So, the last couple things we'll go through quickly, because I did watch these, but not enough in depth to give you all of the information. But Ascendant Nomad has if you're bad at Crucible, watch this. And he talks through sort of a play style that he calls a passive aggressive play style. Basically, essentially, it's hang back and team shoot. Like, find a pulse rifle or scout, something, hang back. He sort of finds a buddy in the Crucible. He's like, I'm going to follow this guy. This guy's being aggressive. I'm going to follow him and just sort of hang back and engage the same people he's engaging and sort of be his backup. And then just sort of go from like zone to zone. He was playing Iron Banner in this example. He's like, I sort of go from zone to zone where my team is engaging. I'm going to sit back and take pot shots and help clear zones, and then I'll move on to the next one. So while I don't give him credit for capturing a single zone, because you should capture the zones, he was at least helping other people on his team clear the way so that they could capture the zones. So, yeah. So it's just a nice way to think about things if you're not an aggressive player. Sit back, shoot from afar, stay safe, and don't die.
Yeah.
Fallout Plays has if you want a masterclass on Destiny, this is one I did not watch. For a reason I'll get to here in a moment. If you'd like every weapon perk explained and rated,
God, that was a long video.
and PvP, Fallout Plays has a 3-hour and 34-minute presentation for you. Feature presentation that is split up into chapters. So if there's a person, a particular perk or whatever you're looking for, he has to split up so you can find the part you're looking for and don't have to sit through 3 hours and 34 minutes of it. But he has all the perks for all the things rated and explained to you.
Yeah.
So
I actually recommend people watching it in its entirety, right? Because there were some things that caught me off guard, like the ones that you think work a certain way don't. And I was like, what? Yeah. So just watch the whole thing if you get the time. Break it up into parts if you can. But I recommend it because, I mean, I can pretty much promise you there's at least one on this list that does not work the way you think it does. So check it out.
Quick question for you. Is it one you need to watch, or is it one you can listen to still get what he's saying?
Absolutely listen to it. Yeah.
Okay.
No, you can listen to it.
Okay.
The only thing to watch, because you're just looking at him sitting in his chair, and he'll bring up an icon every now and again, or maybe some text that describes it. But there's nothing to watch. You can absolutely listen to it.
Yeah, but I wasn't sure if it was one of those, like, I'm going to explain it and then I'm going to show you, or if it's just, I'm going to walk you through this, because that's 3 hours and 34 minutes is less worth than showing examples of every one of these, which are all out there somewhere.
Fallout took his informational videos to the next level in this one.
Yeah. So after he put out that one, Fallout's disappointment is also immeasurable. He has a review of the Nothing Manacle. Well, nothing is really, I think, his take on them. The Nothing Manacle's not exciting. Sorry, Warlocks. If you've been playing Iron Banner, your peace bond is now the king of all sidearms, says True Vanguard. He has a video about how good the peace bond is and what you want to look for. So if you hear
that the roll with Headstone? Is it that one?
I don't remember, honestly, because I only watched half of it because it's a sidearm, and I don't care about sidearms. I'm sorry, you can't make me.
You say that, but it was tearing people up in the Iron Banner, dude.
No, it's still not going to happen. Esoteric has a couple of videos. The first one is all 16 Tingled Shore Ascendant Anchor locations and patrol locations guide. So if you're looking for any of those, he'll show you where all those are. And the 3 Enigmatic Mysteries and the 9 Trivial Mysteries, he has locations guide on where to find all of those as well. One for Respawn, just to get his hunter love up and make him hate Titans just a little bit more. Destiny Fun Police has the no backup plans versus the one-eyed mask. Which one is better?
Okay.
To which Respawn says neither of them. They both suck. Titans are the worst.
Agreed.
Astacross has a video about particle deconstruction, the corrected final damage rankings for the PvE meta, where he and his team went into the Templar and they used Templar instead of Shirochi. I guess the Templar has a more consistent.
Because
I guess Shirochi,
Shirochi's got a double crit spot instead of a 1.5, so they had to do a bunch of finagling with math. And things that don't crit, like 1,000 voices, was getting skewed. So yeah, it was a whole bunch of who did that video? I'm gonna look
Astacross went and did that one.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So they went and did that one in Volta Glass using the Templar for it, and basically said, "Hey, here's our recommendations, here's the numbers," and they talked about some pairings on what you can run with what to get really, really good numbers on things for damage. Cool Guy has a couple of videos. If the Forge's pledge feels bad to you, there is a huge reason, where he goes into an explanation, because I was sort of having this problem with the Forge's pledge too, the new pulse rifle from Iron Banner. He shows basically, like, when you're moving around with the weapon, you'll have the reticle, and then you can see, I'm assuming he did this on PC, there's sort of like a green outline of the reticle that sort of moves around, like, as you're moving, it sort of, there's a little bit of lag, like it catches up to you. On most weapons, it's pretty tight. Like, it's pretty, you move a little bit and your bullets are going to go where they go. On this weapon, there's like a big delay, for lack of a better word, where like you'll move around and like it's almost like the bullets are. I don't know. Watch a Cool Guy video. He does a better job. It's basically the problem I have.
That's why I didn't feel that issue, because when I'm at home on my desktop, my monitors, both of them are gaming monitors, and I have an option to put a dot that's always there in the middle of my screen. So I focus on the dot. So that's why I didn't have any
softcore cheat. I do the same thing. I do view it as cheating, but it's kind of like moral cheating, because like back in the day, you could just take like a marker or a piece of tape or something and do the same exact thing, and it's not a translucent dot. It takes up pixels.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it like it's not the reticle. It's like the I wish I could find the word for what I'm trying to say. I put the link in the show
No,
notes.
so it functions a
You
bit
know,
like a holographic sight does, where there's this
Yeah.
outer halo on the reticle that when your POV is moving doesn't quite align with what your actual like muzzle would be. So if you've ever used like a holographic sight, be it on an actual firearm or playing airsoft or whatever it might be, if your eye weld, like if your cheek weld and your eye placement isn't where it should be, that reticle can be off or feel like it's floaty, and I think that's what they're trying to emulate with it. I think it's deliberate.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a bug. Might just be how this gun functions. But if you're sort of, if you don't feel like your shots are going where you want them to go, that could be why. There's just more movement on this gun than other pulses and other things. And he shows you a messenger and a bunch of other pulses to sort of see how they look. And
go play a bunch of Battlefield and then come back to it. It'll feel good.
I mean, I understand
There
what
you
you're
go.
saying about it being like softcore cheating. I totally get that. But for me, it's
Oh,
more
I
of a
do it too.
colorblind thing. But for me, it's more of a colorblind thing because I've tried the bright pink reticule, I've tried the lime green reticule, and it's always disappearing somewhere in the background.
Yeah, there's
spot
no
that I have,
color that's going to work in every map.
Yeah. So
I use lime green.
I
I use the green dot and the green reticle. But I also use colorblind mode, which helps with a lot of things, including gives you the yellow pings.
It doesn't work, man. Like it just.
Well, I'm not actually colorblind.
Oh, okay.
I use it for the yellow radar because it's a lot more noticeable out of the corner of your eye than the red.
Gotcha.
Colorblind people who can't use the
that
colorblind
level
settings.
of colorblind appropriation. I'll own it.
I mean, it works, dude. It works. Whatever.
It's just a better color palette for it, except for the brown for.
I'm still mad that they use yellow health bars. When I turn on yellow green colorblind, my health bars are still yellow.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Have you tried turning it off and back on again?
Multiple times over. Ever since they did an update, freaking 2 DLCs ago, my health bars used to be pink. My bosses and my FN not champions, they didn't have them back then, and my FN yellow bars used to be pink, and it stuck out. You could not mistake it for anything else aside from a big bad bossy, right? But ever since they came up with some kind of color change update, freaking 3 DLCs ago, now instead of it being pink like it should have been this whole time, it's now yellow. So yellow-green colorblind has yellow health bars, and I can't understand why.
Because color blindness is hard and you shouldn't be colorblind. That's just the answer. No, I mean, Bungie colorblind settings I feel like have been broken in Destiny since the beginning in one way or another. But moving on.
Oh, question. Have you tried turning your eyes off and turning them back on again?
Multiple times.
Oh, yeah, no dice, man. You're on your own.
Yeah.
Eyes bugged, please buff.
Right.
So Cool Guy also has a video. Is the Stag S tier now? It makes you a tank. So the Stag helmet, you may think, well, isn't that thing that just gives you a rift when you die? Well, yeah, but your rift also provides damage reduction to allied guardians while you're standing in it. It grants rift energy when you're critically wounded, and on your death, it creates your healing rift. So he basically has some gameplay where he's like, I just hang out in the rift. I take damage in the rift. I have another rift, and I can just stand there and be a tank and hang out with my friends. And then if you match that up with Ascended Nomad's, hey, hang back and shoot people from afar video, you could have very bad things happen to you because warlocks don't need to be more powerful. But if you're like, you know what if my warlock could be even more powerful? Apathetic has a video called The Stormcaller Build, or this Stormcaller build in PvP is insane. He has arc buddies. He has all the arc buddies. He has an Aeon Soul. I can't remember the last time I saw an Aeon anything in a build, but he uses the Aeon Soul, which is, or actually no, yeah, it was not the site, it was the Aeon Soul, where when you take damage, it gives you more energy back for your rift. So he just stands in a rift with the Arc Soul, with the Aeon Soul exotic on.
Wow.
And it's just like, I can stand here, give all my friends arc buddies, and by the time, before my first rift even runs out, I have another rift. And because they buffed the landfall, where instead of shooting straight down with the lightning, it gives you like 5 bolts of lightning, it's just way more useful to use. He even shows like a Titan of 5 resilience or less you can kill in his bubble when you pop that. It's a little bit better now. So arc buddies.
Oh, wait, hold on, back up. Pop, kill a Titan in his bubble. How?
With the new reworked landfall.
Oh yeah, okay.
With the tracking things, yeah, he's like, you can kill a Titan standing in his bubble if he's like 5 resilience or less. Yeah. So again, not a kill every Titan, but it'll make bad things happen. And then finally, Patty Cakes Gaming has a Fracted Fist versus Reese Walker, which shotgun is better, where he talks about the shotguns, which one you should use, and why. And then one final piece of late-breaking PSA news from Demon. He says, so I have a PSA regarding Valor Streaks. You can literally finish on a 5-streak bonus, turn off your console, be away for hours, come back, still be on that bonus, as long as you go straight back into playing the activity you had it in. Plus, you could just stand in the tower for ages.
Oh, they removed the debuff, or they removed the... Okay, cool.
Yeah, so it looks like, there is no timeout. As long as you go right back to the thing you were doing, to or from the tower or whatever, it'll still give you that buff. So yeah, you can do that, set your controller down, go get lunch, come back to the activity, and still enjoy your streak. So, he says Valor Streaks, so I'm assuming it works with all the, Valor Streaks, Gambit Streaks, Vanguard Streaks. I assume it works with all three, but he at least tested with the Valor Streaks and they work there.
I see what you're talking about now, Peroty. The little red dot in the middle is independent from the reticule.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched these all this morning and should have taken better notes. It's like, it feels wiggly and waggly, and I was like, that's probably why that. And I have a roll that's just garbage on it, but yeah. So I think that's it. So thank you for joining us. Your hunters are no one responds in real life, and Nullzy, and not Arf. We got a whole bundle of hunters this week. Your Titans Peroty. You can email the show, and please do, at 2titansandahunter@hotmail.com. You can find the show on Twitter at 2titans_hunter. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube at, you guessed it, 2 Titans and a Hunter. Don't be confused by the 3 hunters. They just overtook us this week and powered us out because they are hunters and they are mighty. You can find all your favorite guardians on Destiny because it doesn't matter. Just find us on Destiny. That's where we are. You can watch the show on YouTube, listen to the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Audible, Spotify, and everywhere you can find a podcast. We're there, watching, waiting, sitting in the Iron Banner, not capturing zones, murder you in the face. And Nullzy and Respawn, tell the good people goodbye. Until next week.
Deuces!
Bye! Just under 3 hours, we did it.
Yeah.
Hey.
Wow, 3 hours for a TWAB that had nothing in it. That's impressive.
Mm-hmm.
That's
We can
if you ever need someone who loves the sound of their own voice, I will keep a conversation going forever.
I admit you were a good guest with really good feedback, dude.
I was just going to say, Respawn may have made a mistake. He may have found someone who likes to talk more than he does.